Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Glad you're here for a Friday night edition of the show. Becky Vickers, her hair looks lovely tonight. Yeah, her teeth are perfect too. It just makes me sick how nice the teeth are. Yeah, they glow. They glow in a good white way. You know, she's got nice bright white teeth. You'll see it here momentarily as we're going to talk about ghosts and monsters of Texas tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the best part about it is we have all of you here as well. Yeah, you listening in. You. Okay, we got Race Fan in the gold medal position. Trucker Andrew with the silver. Michael Morris with a nice bronze medal tonight. Hi, Robert Lamoth and James Horn. Dino Bravo, how you doing? Jimmy Gonzalez. Forrest Louie is here. Forrest Louie will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Road Flare, SG Nav Spotter, Chris 716, and Karen in the Woo Train. Good to see you all. Hi, Jessica Davenport, Skip to Malou, Flat Six, and Unknown Cryptid. Thank you for coming on in. Let us move on down because our man T-Bone is here and Luscious Jules is back. Your hair looks fantastic. That was a great picture today, Jules. Great picture of your hair. Noble Patrick, how you doing, my man? As we continue on with roll call, Jeeves finishing off his first full week of SOR. Good to have you here. Vash the Impaler. What's happening? Vash the Impaler will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Ludo Bell. Thank you for coming on in. Major Lee, thank you for joining us. And thank you for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you very, very much. Millennium, my man. W. David Page, how you guys doing? Thank you for joining us. The Deboruni is back. Yeah, see, I called her the Deboruni before she even, I see that she put it on up. That's awesome. Hope you're having a good night, Deb. Operation Shutdown. Thank you for coming on in. Who's hiding on Facebook? I don't even see that one. Don't even know. Who's on Facebook? All right. Body Tech, good morning to you. Guy Calgary, Eternity Eternal, thank you for coming on in. Got to take a breath for this one. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Always going to say it 3 times. I don't know why. Algaray on Twitch. What's happening, my man? All the world's a stage. Nice to see you. Oh, finally, who's this? I don't know. It's Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show and the 3 nights previous. Anyways, moving on. I'm in a good mood tonight. Mama Catherine. Mwah! I love you, my dear. Thank you for coming on in. Continuing on with our roll call. Desert Rat, good to see you. Mama Susan, purple-haired Pixie Lara. Over on Twitch, we got Little Cam. How you doing, buddy? W. Decker, thank you for joining us, and thank you for that lovely super chat. Hope you're going to join us in Reno for the fan party. That'd be great to have you there, my man. Human Carl is here, not to be misconstrued with Alien Carl. Human Carl is a great veteran of the United States Air Force. Thank you for your service, Human Carl. We love you, my man. All right, moving on. Who else do we have here? We got DB Nobody. It's happening. And who else is here? Barbara Mora, welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for joining us. D. Cohen, Ann B, Paramarv, Dragonfly, Philip Miller's a newbie. Welcome to SOR Chat. And we're going to start the radio side here. We welcome everybody to our radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you for joining us as we have Becky Vickers here talking about ghosts and monsters of Texas. We're in roll call here. Cindy Pruitt, welcome to the show. There's Bill WD-40 lubing us up as we speak. You always want to go into a show nice and smooth. You don't want that rigidness. Accidents happen with rigidity. You need that smoothness right there. Rock and Rory, good to see you. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. You're actually going to want to wear our clothing in public and not be embarrassed. Do me a favor. Throw those horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. You'll do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. How y'all doing tonight? Hope you're having a great night with us because we're going to turn up the woo tonight. Becky Vickers from the beautiful state of Texas is here to talk monsters and ghosts and all things paranormal. And then in hour number 3, Steve Stockton joins us with another spooky story from Among the Missing. Following that, Terry Hall, the mustached maniac, will join us in the UFO report. All right, time to get to it. Behind every cloud, there's a kindred spirit. Ours around here, we like to call her Becky Vickers. Now, Becky lost her grandfather when she was just 17 years old, had a very difficult time getting over it. She was wondering at a young age, could she still communicate with him? She just loved him so much, she didn't think that she could live without her grandfather. She read everything that she could get her hands on to do with the afterlife, and that started a career of more than 37 years of investigating the paranormal. It's her way of staying in touch with her grandfather. She loves being a ghost hunter. But you know what? She wasn't prepared for being a monster hunter as well, as she's also very known in the state of Texas as taking tours looking for the elusive goat man. Becky Vickers, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio.
I'm so excited.
Woo, me too. Me too. Thank you for coming on in. You know, I mean, you are someone who has a vested interest in this field because, like everybody, I mean, you lost someone who was very important in your life. And I've never told you this story. I don't think I've ever told anybody on this show this story. Maybe I did years ago. I can't remember. But when my grandfather died, when I was 21, 22, it was back in 1995. He haunted me for a while.
No
And the
way.
weird part about it was my uncle and I had the same dream for 2 months where we'd be staring off at these clouds and my grandfather's face would start like really small in the cloud and it would zoom in till he was like right in front of you. 2 months of that, both him and I.
He had the same dream as you?
Same dream. Now, my uncle has since passed. He passed away last year. And it's funny, no communication from him, nothing, nothing. He was like a
Yet.
vagabond soul.
Nothing yet.
Yet, that
And
is very true.
yeah.
Very true. So we have something very much in common because the legend of the Dave Scott family is back in 1973 when I was about yay big. My grandfather was a raging alcoholic. And
Oh.
after he got the first time he got physical with my grandmother in one of his drunken rages, my dad drove to Alberta from British Columbia to rescue her. And about 3 weeks later, my grandfather showed up in the driveway of my parents' house. And my dad went out and had words with him because my grandmother was staying with us. And that's when my grandfather held me for the first time. And right then and there, when he held me, he never picked up a drink after that.
Oh my god, don't make me, like, cry in the first 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
Seriously?
so no, dead serious. So the weird part about it is I never got to know the ugly side of my grandfather because he was always amazing to me. And so it's very hard, like when family would talk about my grandfather's other side. So I know what it's like to have that bond with a grandfather. You know what I'm saying? And I could
Yeah.
see where it really hit you emotionally to put you on this path of communication.
Yeah, like you don't plan it, right? I mean, it's just one of those things that when he passed, I'm like going, "No, no, it's not time. I'm not ready for this yet. I don't accept it. I just don't accept this." So, I mean, yeah, I just started secretly, reading everything I could about how to communicate with the afterlife, and oh my god, it just blossomed into more and more and more. And yeah, and then there's monsters out there as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing when you start doing deep dives. And my dad recently passed just a month ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to
And thank you, thank you. And, I don't expect to hear from him, but I did tell him in private, in a private conversation, I can't say, "Dad, I need you to give me a sign when you're around." So, I just told him, I said, "I expect to see you sooner than later." And I know he knew what I meant for that. So, I know when the time's right, something big is gonna happen. It might happen tonight. Maybe the pictures will fall off the wall. I don't know. Dad's gonna be going, "Girl, what are you doing talking about me?" So, yeah. That's amazing story though, Dave. I'm touched by that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And I lost my mom last year in uh,
Oh, I'm
in June.
sorry.
And thank you. And it was funny because over the Christmas holidays, when we were there, it was Christmas Eve, and I was wrapping the last of the presents that I had to wrap, and it was probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was sitting at my dad's kitchen table, and I could look through the kitchen into the living room where the Christmas tree was in his condo, and I actually saw the shadow of my mom walk by. And so I,
Oh,
I actually, yeah, I told my dad about that. I said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "Do you ever see uh, anything going on?" I have to be very pragmatic with my father because he's a
yes.
very five senses kind of guy. Okay, and so he's like, sometimes I feel like she's here. I said, "Yeah, she is." I said, "I saw her last night walking towards your room," and he was like, "Oh, that's cool." So, yeah, I love it when stuff like that happens.
But how did that make you feel? Like, were you glad about it and you were like, "Oh, that was
Yeah,
nice that she showed herself to you."
yeah, it was cool. It was
Yeah,
very cool, and I think one of the things that we don't do is we get a little freaked out when we see things that move around instead of appreciating what it could be.
that's right. I mean, when you get a sign, accept it as a sign. That's what it is. I know I one of the most coolest comments recently, when my dad passed, he passed on Christmas Eve. So that kind of sucked. I mean, we didn't do Christmas this year at all or anything. But one of my friends had reached out and, sorry, Becky, about your dad. But they made a comment to me that when your dad figures out his new spiritual realm, however you say it, my Texas accent, that he will definitely come to you. And I'm like, wait, I never really thought of that it is so different on the other side. I am assuming
Yeah.
that it would take maybe a little bit to figure out, wait, things are different than they used to be. It was
Yeah.
just stuck in my head because he had said, when he figures it out, because it's going to be different. And I'm like, yeah, I just never thought of that.
Oh yeah. I know when my mother was on her deathbed and I got the phone call that it was time to come down.
Yeah.
Uh, I have about a 4.5 hour drive down to
Oh,
where my family grew up. And so I was driving through the mountains and in this beautiful picturesque area that we call the Fraser Canyon in this area. And it's literally the trail that the gold rush went through in order to get to the Klondike. And I was going through there, and my nephew, who passed away in 2018, he was my parents' first grandchild, and he died of a fentanyl overdose back in
mm.
2018. And so all of a sudden, I just sometimes I'll just talk to him,
Yeah.
and I said, "Hey, bud," I said, "I need you here." I said, grandma's about to come visit you, and we got to make sure she's okay. And my nephew kind of had this chip on his shoulder. He was very, even though he had a fentanyl problem, you'd never swear that he was a junkie. you
Yeah.
know and and all of a sudden I get this message from him, and in my head, clear as day, I hear him, "Really? What do you think you got to worry about?" He goes, "I got this." He goes, "You don't need to worry about anything. I got this." And then the day before my mom passed away, my sisters, and it was my one sister's only child. And my sisters and I was on my mom, behind my mom on her left shoulder as she was sitting in her wheelchair. And my sisters were, sitting on the bed beside her. And all of a sudden, my mom starts talking. And my sister, whose son it was, says, "Who are you talking to, Mom?" And she goes, "Bryce." And my sister just jumped up. She's like, "Where? Where is he, Mom? Where is he?" And Mom pointed right in front of her.
No way. Yeah.
And so the really, really cool part, and I've never cried about this ever, because I think it is the coolest experience that could have happened. The next morning, I woke up and like, okay, we expected that it was a Wednesday. We expected that to be the day. And we I was driving to the nursing home where my mother was, and I decided to go grab a coffee, an ice cap from our local Tim Hortons. And the drive-through was jam-packed, and it was cash only. And I never carry cash. I always have my bank card with me, and they weren't taking bank cards. So I had to go to a different Tim Hortons, and they got my drink. It stalled me. I pull into the parking lot, and because I have my son with me, and as soon as I hit stop on the vehicle, my phone rings, and it's my sister saying Mom was gone. And my dad was also there, and my dad had to take my grandmother somewhere because I still have a grandma, and she's a tough old bird. She ain't going for a few years.
You
And
go, Grandma.
yeah, absolutely. She just turned 96.
Ah,
Just
yay!
Yeah. And so my dad had to take her to an appointment. So my mom waited for my dad to get the hell out. She made me stumble so that way she wouldn't have passed in front of my grandson, or her grandson, my son, who's only 10. Okay, because she didn't want that to happen. And the only one else in the room was my sister, whose son had came to my mom the next day, or the day before, pardon me. And so I thought it was absolutely awesome that the day before, my mom says she's talking to my nephew, her grandson, and my sister never got to say goodbye to her son. And yet we knew my nephew was there to take grandma to the other side, and my sister
Mm.
got was the last one to see my mom breathe. It was just that peaceful because mom went in her sleep. So, I mean, I look at that as a complete blessing. I've never cried over it. I don't think I will because it was just too awesome.
It and that's a gift from your mom to y'all, the way that all went down. You're not being there, she didn't want that. I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, that's an incredible showing of love in my eyes. To have the young man come to her, and you be hung up at the coffee. She didn't want anybody there. It's
No,
kind of like, I hope I can talk about this without crying like you. Um, my dad, the day that he passed, we had a private conversation, myself and my dad. And my dad was kind of in a lot of pain, and so I just tell him, no more test. No more, not a damn more test. Dad, it's time for you to rest. It's time, and you need to know we're okay with that.
mm,
And my brother was driving in from Arkansas, so he made it, and all of his grandchildren were able to make it to the hospital. And we all left. The nurses said, there's no pointing. We had all these people here. We didn't know that. We just knew it was close to time. We didn't know
yeah,
it was time. We just knew the end was near. And she goes, "You guys go home, get rest, and come home in the morning." And he passed 2 hours later. And I do not think that's a coincidence. I think that was
not at
his
all.
choice, 1,000%. I saw
Yeah,
everybody I needed to see. I said goodbye. And now
yeah,
I need to do this with my family. It's good. I don't want them to be in the room. I have, you know,
yeah.
again, the gift of love. I don't think he
Especially
wanted us to see it.
especially with men because we're kind of stoic and proud that way that we don't want that
Yeah.
generation didn't want
Yeah.
you to see anything bad. So the paranormal is very personal for a lot of us,
It
as
is.
our audience just heard, and they probably everybody has their own one or two stories or more that are out there. You have such a passion for spirits. You have such a passion for the ghosts that you encounter. I don't want to say it's a love because I think that's an overused term, but why do you care so much about what goes on the other side?
You, oh my god, I have chills as you're talking about that because um I do care. I for some reason now I feel sad that I didn't get a chance to meet your mom. And I have never met you. But I'm in my mind I'm like, "Oh, she was a really nice lady. I should have met her." And I because they were living, breathing humans. Not all of them are nice that I run across in the paranormal world. We have the ones, if you're cranky here on earth, you don't get to suddenly be nice on the other side. It doesn't work that way. Um, but I have a lot of compassion because even though I know things are better on the other side, they don't have human emotions like we have, sadness and grief and happiness and jealousy and all of these things. There's none of that on the other side. There's none of it. Um, so I think I don't know. I just still want to be respectful, even though they're on the other side and I can't maybe physically see them anymore. They were at one time living and breathing, and we're here on this earth. And we need to respect that their time was here is gone now, but doesn't mean that we still can't talk. Now I'll
No,
say that, and some cranky spirit's gonna show up behind me and start throwing shit. I mean, crap back there or something.
what do you think is on the other side?
Oh, I think, well, for us that get to the other side, because for my belief in the paranormal, I think we all get to one place or another. We're going to heaven or we're going to hell, right? But sometimes there's this middle space that takes us a little longer to figure out where we're going to go. And I think if you make it to heaven, it's nothing but pure joy. I mean, if again, I don't believe there's any human emotions on the other side. I don't think that we feel joy, sadness, grief, and none of that stuff. I don't think any of that. Personally, death does not scare me at all. When my ticket's gonna be punched, let's go.
See,
Let's
it
go.
scares the hell out of me.
No,
Scares the
Dave, does it?
Oh, huge, huge. I actually, the other night after the show, when I laid down in bed and getting all comfy, and all of a sudden you get that wide awake, jumping anxiety feeling. I,
Yeah.
I'm, I literally thought, holy cow, I only got like 35 years left.
Stop doing
Right?
that. What are you, out of your
Oh,
mind?
I know. It's uh, and it's just a quick message here. Sorry, I'm going to stop here for a quick second. Major Lee in our chat room says, "Hi, Captain. I'm struggling with mental health at the moment. SOR is my safe place. Much love,
Oh,
much love, Major Lee. And I want to tell you that as someone who suffers from mental health as well, I'm glad you find a safe place here. And this, I know our radio audience can't see this, but we have an incredible amount of lovely people who are dedicated to this show each and every night in our chat room. And it's become like a pseudo family for many of us, myself included as the host. And so, Major Lee, if you're struggling, we're struggling with you, and we're all going to send you a bunch of love and healing for you, man. Because trust me, as someone who suffers from anxiety and depression myself, and I'm very open about that, I want you to know that even though it seems dark, brighter days are always ahead. And I know that personally, and so, you keep fighting. And if you need some help, always call one of those helplines that will help you out, because that's what they're there for. And people love and care for you. That's why they volunteer to do it. But we love you, my man. And if you need any help, you reach out to one of us here, and we're all good for that. That's what we do. That's what family does, my man.
yes. Hanging, Captain Lee, is that his name?
Major Lee.
Major Lee. Well, Major Lee, hi from Texas, and absolutely hang out with us, and like Dave said, reach out to him. And I'm glad that you're hanging out in the space with us a little bit tonight. So hey,
Absolutely. And I think it's I love our audience. I really do. Even a lot of people who I haven't met, like last year at our fan party, totally off topic. Last year at our fan party, we had a couple of listeners. I'd never seen him in our chat room before. One gentleman flew in from England. His name's
ooh,
Tim. So, Tim, if you're listening, we hope you're going to join us in Reno for the fan party this year. But yeah, Tim joined us in Las Vegas last year for the event. Yeah, it's an incredible event that everybody's invited to. I don't turn down anybody. May 10th through 12th at the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort. We are trying to get, I'm going to say the word efforting to get Becky Vickers to show up. Yeah, we need her. If you
I'm
guys
trying
think
my best.
we need Becky Vickers there, show us by a pull of your hands. Just put your hand up and say Becky has
Yes,
absolutely.
let's
So
meet
we
in
want
person.
absolutely, Becky.
I
I'm
would.
going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Spaced Out Radio with Becky Vickers. We're talking ghosts. We're talking hauntings. We're talking monsters of Texas. That's where she is with her beautiful Southern accent, the Southern Belle, the Southern Paranormal Belle. Becky Vickers joins us here. We're having a lot of fun. We hope you continue to stay with us right here on Spaced Out Radio. Second half hour is next. There we go. Quickly here. Hi, Guy Calgary. Hi, Bobbert. Who else has jumped in here? Because I'm way behind in the chat room right now. Way behind. Let's see here. Bobo, how are you, my man? And Major Lee, we love you, my man. Really, really love you. Where are we here? Perminator. What's happening? Mike Rivers, good to see you. And let's see, who else do we have here? We have over on Facebook, we got Kurt Fulmore, who still thinks the San Jose Sharks will eventually win a Stanley Cup. We have Ozzy Ange and Susan Lawrence from Indiana. Who else we have? T-Bone, thank you for the love again, my friend. Very much appreciate your love and support of Spaced Out Radio. Yeah, T-Bone's a good dude, man. I talked to him on the phone last week. Yeah, it was kind of cool. Very cool, actually. He's trying to make it to the Reno party. I told him he can't come unless he brings his lovely wife. And I know they're both listening.
Right.
So he's probably laughing. Yeah, laugh away, man. You better make it to Reno. Maybe we'll catch the same flight. Dutch UFO, all the way from the Netherlands. Get ready to pick some tulips over there. Yep. And who else? I used to live in a tulip and daffodil community where you drive down the country roads and all you see is daffodils and tulips. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
I want to go there.
Yeah. Let's see. What is Brooke Sharp? By the way, that was an amazing comment earlier, Brooke Sharp. How do you know you're Canadian? You're talking to a Canadian without saying they're Canadian? The Tim Hortons comment that I meant. And so we're glad to have Brooke here. And who else do we have? No way, man. I would never give up on the Edmonton Oilers. Ever. I've been cheering for the Edmonton Oilers since 1979. I got 5 Stanley Cups. Oh, who's from Halifax here? Chuck Finley. How you doing? Good to see you, my man. All the way from Halifax, home of Sidney Crosby. We love Sid, the kid. Okay, Nathan McKinnon's pretty good, too. Yeah. And who else is showing up? Abbott Hoffman, Jennifer Patterson, good to see you. And who else is here? That's it. We're caught up. We are caught up. Hi, Becky.
I didn't know if I'm allowed to talk.
Yeah, you're allowed to talk now.
Oh, well, till Brooke thinks I see her message there about female representation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go female power.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, Becky, I'm going to put you on the spot. Are you coming to Reno yet? Like, we've been doing this for like 30 minutes here. We need you there. What
Dave.
phone call to your boss do I have to make?
That would be that's who I have to get this by is my boss. I right now I'm saying I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, my plans are to be there.
Yeah. So what's the boss saying? What's the boss saying?
He's saying that's a very busy time of the year for us because are about to close out our year-end physical. So audit stuff. So we have a lot of audit stuff going on during that month.
But you're not working weekends.
Sometimes we do.
Well, that weekend you can't.
I'm saying I'm in. I'm hoping to be there.
Paramarv wants to know about the puppy walking through.
Oh, are y'all seeing him? That's Casper.
We've seen him a couple times.
Yeah, Casper's a little white one that comes through. They come and check on me, and then I have a little brown one that is Tucker.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you tonight to Major Lee ×2 and Debster and W. Decker and T-Bone with a hat trick. Early hat trick for T-Bone tonight. Thank you.
Yay, T-Bone.
Hot and 3 already. Uh-huh. It's picked off both top quarters of the 5-hole already. And we're only 30 minutes in.
You sure do have a great audience.
Yeah. Henry E. White Jr., how are you? Yeah. We do. We have an amazing audience. Amazing audience. I'm proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I work hard for them.
And you're a great host. I can see why they want to hang out with you.
Yeah, I'm boring. I'm too vanilla.
No,
I- mm,
you're too vanilla.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I'm the
I
kind
don't
of guy.
know.
I'm the kind of guy who drives a beige Volvo. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. The second half hour. Second half hour, Spaced Out Radio tonight. Apparently, according to our audience on YouTube, thank you, Flat Six, I am the big toe of the show. The big toe. I don't know what that means, but that is awesome. Becky Vickers is here talking paranormal and monster talk, and we will get to her momentarily. But first, I want to remind all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/spaced out radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Becky Vickers, all the way from Texas. That's a giant
Hey,
state.
hey,
Bigger than
y'all.
most countries. Whereabouts in Texas are you?
Dallas.
Rough time right now being out of the NFL playoffs, isn't it?
Oh, really? You're going to bring that up? You're going to go there?
Yep.
Dave. Yes, don't bring it up. I am a huge football fan, and I have to root for the Cowboys. I know we suck sometimes, and
You
this
don't have
year,
a quarterback.
I
You don't have,
know we need a new coach. I think that we
everybody,
should replace our coach.
everybody but Jerry Jones knows that you
Yeah,
need a quarterback.
I know. Are you
There
going to
are,
watch the big game on Sunday?
of course,
Yes.
I'm watching the Super Bowl. Of course, I love the Super Bowl. Love it. And it's going to be a lot of fun watching it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a big deal here in Texas, even though we lost. Oh yeah, you gotta get all the snacky foods ready, and
Mm,
oh, bring on the football, man. I love football.
you know what? I can honestly say one of my bucket list dreams is to actually go to Texas and on a Friday night catch a high school football game with Friday night lights because they get 20, 30,000 people out for those. And
That's
then
no
Saturday I
lie.
want to go Saturday I want to go to a college football game down there. And then Sunday I want to go to an NFL game because it's funny. I was in sports journalism for 8 years almost, and I never ever covered the NFL live. I
What?
covered every other sport: basketball, baseball, hockey. We don't consider soccer a sport around here. So, you know, golf, whatever. I covered everything, but I never got to an NFL game. And I'm still upset about that. Never been to an NFL game.
Well, that does suck. You need to get on that. You
I
need to
know.
make that happen next year.
I know. I'm thinking ghosts. I'm thinking football. I'm thinking
Come on down to
monsters.
Texas, but I can hook you up.
Perfect. Perfect. All
We
right.
have ghosts, we have monsters, we've got it all. What do you want?
What's the most haunted place you've ever investigated?
Well, in Texas, or you mean overall or just in
In,
Texas?
in Texas. Let's stay in Texas tonight.
Okay. In Texas, definitely the Alamo is very haunted. But probably the most haunted place is an abandoned hospital called Yorktown. It is falling in. It was at one time, of course, like all hospitals usually end up being, it was a rehab center. It was a Catholic nun church. So, I mean, if y'all are wanting to go someplace in Texas, besides Goatman's Bridge with me, check out Yorktown. I'm talking full bodied apparitions, things physically moving like chairs, and um, can I tell them to go to my YouTube channel to watch a video on this?
Absolutely, that's
Okay.
allowed.
So you guys go to Becky Vickers on YouTube and watch the doll video. Dave, we had this doll that didn't have batteries in it, and we were filming, showing the back of this doll open that doesn't have batteries, and it is laughing when we are saying like, "Can you laugh?" And it goes, "Hee hee hee hee," and then we'll say, "Where's Daddy?" And it would say, "Mama," and then it would say, "Daddy." I mean, it is the most amazing freaking thing. There's no batteries. It's not. You can tell it's an old doll, but this thing is 100% intelligently talking back and forth with us, and it's just unbelievable. I'm still can't get over it, and that happened years ago.
Oh my. That would scare the daylights out of me. You know, I've heard like at a ghost tour that I do up here, I've heard we used to have a sensor doll,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
that
yeah.
that would go off on the upstairs, and we had a little girl running around the house, and as well as a ghost cat, and we would set up the doll upstairs, and all of a sudden the doll would start going off, and it would be absolutely crazy, just
I love it.
crazy.
I love
Oh,
it. I love it. I love it.
what do you love about the ghost hunt? What really drives you to it?
Oh, the unknown itself, just to have an experience. I mean, it doesn't always happen. Anybody that's a ghost hunter out there know you can go to some locations and sit there all dang night and not have a single thing happen. But I think I'm intrigued. I am in it for the research value of, I guess, trying to prove, look, we really aren't alone in this world. We have UFOs and we have spirits. And I don't know. I think it's just, can I really, really, really make that connection to the other side? Going back to my grandfather, just make that connection and have proof that I did. Not for anybody else, but for my own self.
I would consider myself an enthusiast of the paranormal. I'm not a ghost hunter, but I love going out there and playing with ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm in the 97 percentile, you know,
Well,
and
let's hear where your scariest place is, or the spookiest place that you've been.
uh, I would say the scariest place is a place out here called Flight 21, where in 1965, in the forest above the forest of about 25 miles from our town, a plane blew up in the sky and 52 people fell to their death.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, it was being there at night, even with a bunch of people. I don't think I would ever go back there at night again.
No?
I have, I don't get scared easily. Okay. But this scared me. And it wasn't one big thing. It was, it was nickels adding up to dollars, and they added up real quick. Whether it was hearing voices in the forest where there are no people, and you can't hear the voice. You can hear the voices, but you can't make out what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's it's um it was a not only a combination of paranormal, but there was cryptid activity and UFO activity at this place at the same time. And we were there for 2 days filming, and the second day was, I'll never forget the second day, because not only did we hear a pair of Sasquatch in different locations, the second one was forewarning us about something else hiding in the forest,
Oh
and
my
that
gosh.
was a UFO with aliens walking around, and we saw them.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, they were the craft was about 30 yards from us.
Okay, now I'm scared. That would scare me bad.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
god, what I wanna know, what did they look like?
I didn't see the aliens, my team did.
Oh, your team saw them.
They were tall grays.
Oh.
Yeah, they were tall grays.
See, I think I can go up against any kinda ghost there is. I'm not super fond of demons, but, um, the grays scare me. I've
Yeah.
never experienced one, but I'm not too sure that that's an experience I need to have.
Well, I mean, the funny part about it was about 15 minutes prior to that, our intuitive Samantha, who is she's usually 99% to 100% accurate,
Mm,
and I give her that much credit. And her and I actually picked up vibe. We felt that we were being watched, and we actually, when we started walking down this trail looking into the area, we actually felt vibration, like
oh,
electric
yeah.
vibration under our feet. And then when you add up like 20 minutes later, seeing the craft and seeing the ETs, they were that's exactly where we were looking.
That's
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah.
See,
And
that scares me. That scares me.
yeah, man, it was a trip. It was an absolute trip. Now, would I go into the forest again with Samantha? Oh, hell yes. I'm 2 for 2 in seeing aliens with her in a forest.
See, I think I wanna see one, I just don't wanna be close to them, if that makes sense. I think seeing them would be, of course, an experience, but I don't wanna be close. I don't know any I'm not knowledgeable enough about UFOs and aliens that I would feel comfortable. I'd have to go with somebody like you that knew more about it than me.
Yeah, it's an interesting endeavor. It really is. And what scares me more about investigating up here, even though we're supposed to be talking Texas right now, is I'm more scared of the wild animals than I
Oh,
am than I am about anything else.
yeah.
Grizzly bears are angry.
Oh,
They're like
I'm
they're like
sure.
they're like house cats. They're just pissed off all the time. You know.
Yeah.
So
I we don't have bears here really, but we have freaking snakes, and
yeah,
I am petrified of snakes.
I am so out that's why I'm never going to Goatman Bridge with you because of the snakes.
Look,
But
I'm telling you, I have to suck it up sometimes and, like, make it through.
what do you do when a ghost comes up to you and says, "Help me"?
Oh, well, that has happened a few times because I think doing this so long, you're definitely your awareness and your senses get heightened, and sometimes you do hear the inner voices. I try to help. I don't know that, this is my personal opinion, probably people are gonna hate on this, but, I don't know that we can make anybody, any spirit go to the other side. I think we can guide them, tell them what they need to do, but it's gonna be their decision. It's all free will, right?
Mhm.
So, I think people that come in and are very nonchalant, "No, oh, they're gone, I did this and said this and they're gone." I don't believe that because if they can throw things, they can walk through the wall, and us coming in and just saying, "Hey, you need to go to the other side," that's not that's that's not gonna work. I mean, I try to help them by saying stuff like, "There is a light. You're going to see a light, and you need to go towards that light. That's where you're supposed to be. That where you're at now is not where you're supposed to be. You need to go towards the light." But in my own opinion, it is totally up to that spirit to go or not go. I mean, I just think us just saying you need to cross over is not good enough.
Yeah, I see that too. I see that where we have to take into consideration what the other spirits are talking about and what they went
Yeah.
through on this side. Are you convinced? Because a lot of people who are scientific in this field tend to believe that we don't really know what spirits are. It could be other dimensions, it could be different realities, it could be residual energy, but we're not very convinced that they are actually ghosts per se. What do you think about that?
No, I agree 100%. I mean, unless you die and come back, nobody can say for sure what we're really dealing with. We can come up with all kinds of evidence, and we have people's stories to go by that have these near death experiences and stuff like that. But, how do we really define all of this? It's like anything. Unless it can be scientifically proven, and the way that happens is everything has to be the environment has to be exactly the same, the temperature, everything has to be exactly the same over and over and over to be 100% proven. In the paranormal world, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's just like going to some locations is extremely active, and you have all this fun stuff go on, and then you go back the next night and nothing. So, to say with 100% certainty what we're dealing with, I don't think anybody really can.
What are you looking for then? What do you think we're searching for? Because to me, I think the ultimate goal should be, is there life after death? I don't think there's any other question to that. Would you agree or differ with that?
No, I agree. And I think, isn't that the most unanswered question of all? Everybody in some form wants to know what is on the other side. Is this really it? Or do we just fade to black and that's it? I don't think so. And I think with all of the devices coming out, the EVPs that we hear, you guys see them on TV, and just more modern ways to record actual things happening. I think that's getting us there as far as being able to prove things and stuff like that.
I think so too. I think so too. And when you are communicating with a spirit, whether it's through EVP or a ghost box or just through the technology or your own intuition, what do you go through? What happens to you when you're communicating with them?
It's so weird. I mean, and I am, I cannot call somebody's spirit to me. Like, if you and I were out on a ghost hunt and you said, Becky, I really want to talk to my mom. Now, I have been able to help people in private sessions through devices and different things. But as far as what I go through, it's just like you and I, really, except I don't hear it. I hear it in my head. Like, one time I went and had my hair done, and I'm hearing just over and over, and I don't know who the voice is, but I hear, "You tell her, tell her, tell her." And I'm like, "Tell her what?" I mean, you're answering these things in your head back, like, "What? What am I supposed to tell her?" And they said that, "Tell her she's pregnant." That's not something you can just say to somebody every day. "Hey man, let me tell you, you're pregnant." And so, I mean, this voice in my head is just like, "Tell her, tell her, tell her," very demanding. So I'm like, "Okay, cool. Alice, are you trying to have a baby? Are y'all trying to have children?" And she goes, "Yeah, matter of fact, we are." And I'm like, "Okay, you're pregnant." And she goes, "What?" And I said, "I don't know who is in your salon, but they're very loud and they're very demanding that you're pregnant." And so as I'm leaving, it's not like I go into some sort of trance or anything like that. I hear the same person as I'm walking out the door says, "Tell her it's a girl." And I'm like, "What? Tell her it's a girl." So I turn around and I said, "By the way, Alice, it's a girl." Swear to goodness, she called me a month later. She was pregnant, already did the pregnancy test. And then I think at 3 months is when you can find out the sex of the child. And she had a girl. She was having a girl.
Oh,
So
that's
it's just like, I think because you open the door to spirits knowing that you're going to, you know, help them be receptive of whatever it is they have to say. So I that happens all the time. I hear these voices in my head. It's like, tell them so and so, whatever it is. It's just crazy. I love it though, but sometimes you do have to shut that door and go, not tonight.
How do you do that? How do you shut it off?
It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice of your space and surrounding yourself with, I envision a wall and a mirror, because in the mirror faces outwards. So they can't get in, right? When they come in, they go back out. It takes a lot of practice to really protect yourself of having the voices in your head all the time come in and say, you know what, I need help, or I, you know, I can't count how many times I went to a conference one time and I sat in a circle with a lady and we're doing EVPs. Never met this lady before in my life, but I see this man standing behind her and he's saying, tell my sister to take the job. I don't know this lady. And so I'm like, ma'am, I'm sorry. I know you don't know me, but there's this tall gentleman standing behind you. And she's totally blowing me off, and I don't blame her. I don't know you. Who the hell are you? And I said, I'm really sorry, but this person is saying for you to take the job. And so she's freaking out. And she tells me that her brother has passed and she is in the dilemma of moving away from her hometown to take a job. And I said, I'm really sorry too, but I'm try to ask permission. Is it okay if I tell you a sensitive thing? And if they say no, it's fine. I just keep it to myself, whatever the spirits told me. But he said, tell her that it wasn't intentional. And I'm like, okay, so this to me, it has something to do with suicide. So when I tell her that, that's all I say to her is, he says to tell you it wasn't intentional. And then she breaks down and she's crying and she's saying it was an overdose. But I guess he's saying it was an accident. And so now she and I still, after years of just meeting in that one instance, she'll call, and I saw her at the conference last year. It was the coolest thing. I didn't know Coca-Cola bottles had names on them, but I guess they do. And
Mm.
so she is coming up to me and she said, Becky, I asked for a sign from my brother today to come into this conference, and I have this Coke and it's got his name on it. And I'm
Oh,
just
wow.
like, wow, that if that's not a sign, I mean, girl, take that for all it is. So I
True.
don't, it just comes to you. I think when you're open to it, they're going to come.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, it is something that we all kind of wonder about, whether our loved ones are hanging out or not.
Hmm.
Do you think that that the spirit hangs around because they want to, or do you think because they feel the need to? We got about a minute to go here.
I think it could be many things. A lot of times spirit want to make sure that you know, you get to your destiny, whether that may be having a baby or completing college or something that in their mind they have a set goal for you. And until you reach that, they're going to hang around and make sure that you do that. Or they don't know that they're past yet. They don't know that they're dead and they're kind of stuck going, what the hell happened? Why is it different now? So I think when people say unfinished business, totally believe that. I think there's several things.
Well, we're going to find out what those things are in hour number 2, and we're going to get to the goat man.
Okay.
What's happening with that darn goat man? As we continue on Spaced Out Radio here tonight on the big show. We're glad to have Becky Vickers with us from Texas, Ghosts and Monsters of Texas. Goat man, other cryptids, more ghost stories. It's going to be a jam-packed final hour with Becky here in the middle hour, hour 2. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are too. We will be right back with more Spaced Out Radio right after this. Stay tuned. Fun times. Fun times.
It's so fun hanging out with you.
I know. I'm a blast.
You are. You're the big toe, man.
I am the big toe. Now I gotta get a t-shirt on our store. I am
Yes,
the
I think you should.
SOR big toe. Absolutely. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna put you back in the green room. We got about 5 minutes here.
Okay.
And so if you need to refill your water bottle or
Yes, I think
whatever.
I will.
Okay, be right back. Be right back, people. All right. I'm back. Hope you're back too. Deidre, how you doing? Welcome back. Anybody else? Jump in. Corey Cole. Free your mind. How are you? Sovereign Farts. What's happening? Well, there's a lot more than 3 in chat, man. All right, there's Becky Vickers. Look at her hair and teeth. Just looking perfect.
I
You
brushed
want to
them
see
today.
if you want to see Becky's teeth in full public, you got to come to our Spaced Out Radio fan party in Reno, Nevada, May 10th through 12th at the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort. And we want to see you there. Yeah, we do. We got a lot of fun stuff planned. Go to info@spacedoutradio.com, info@spacedoutradio.com, and reserve your VIP tickets today. So make sure you do that. We want to see you all there. Thank you tonight to T-Bone with a hat trick, W. Decker, Lee ×2, Deb, and Maddie for the super chats tonight. Very much appreciate the love and support. It's a good way to support what we do on this show. And of course, shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. You're actually going to be proud to wear our stuff in public. Yeah, not like half the other paranormal stuff out there. You'll wear ours. You will. Here we go, hour 2.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Tractor. Tractor is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter @Spaced Out Radio, Instagram @Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Our good friend from Texas, Becky Vickers, is here talking about ghosts and monsters of Texas. Becky, thank you so much for being here. One of the other hats you wear is you do a tour looking for the elusive Goat Man. First off, explain the Goat Man and your tour.
I do. The scary tour here. It's close to Denton, Texas. A goat man is a mythical creature that is I like to refer to him as a modern day party animal, like sex, drugs, rock and roll, man. Just if it's out there, let's do it. Very, very disrespectful to women, though. But he is a half man, half goat creature that has been summoned to the area for not such good reasons or such things. But so it's just a goat man himself is supposed to be a half man, half goat creature.
Yeah, this one's right out of hell. Let's just be honest.
It is. It is. It is. It's scary. The place down there is. It's getting worse. If I can even begin to say that it's worse, but it's definitely getting worse. As far as paranormal activity and sightings of the Goat Man, and I mean, just as recent as a month ago,
Really?
there was a body found out. Yeah, I mean, it was like just I don't know. Even it's still an open investigation on what happened, but I don't know if the man was shot. But I just know that there were some people on the trail that found a body.
Oh,
And not even too long before that, I would say within the year, there was another body. And one of the things with the bridge is, suicides and people go missing and all of this bad stuff. But man, has it ramped up lately.
What do you think causes the negative energy in that area?
I think it's the negativity associated with the bridge, all of the satanic stuff that goes on down there, which is a real deal, really happens. Um, and I think we're getting more and more with all the TV shows. The paranormal stuff is more popular than ever. And I think people come down with Ouija boards and with negative intentions. And I think that's just, accelerating everything. A lot of people come down and want to summons the goat man and they want something super creepy to happen or super scary to happen or super negative. Um, we see all of these drawings and stuff on the trees now that weren't there before. And I think when you collectively have all of this negative energy at a place, it kind of gets locked in around it, around the location. And people who cross that barrier, like we go in for ghost tours, and now more and more people are getting scratched, or more and more people are hearing hissing in their ears and stuff like that. So I just think it's just this collective energy of negativity is just fueling the fire.
Really? Really? So why is there a lot of activity of satanic cult or whatever it may be in that area? What do you think fuels it?
Well, I don't know other than maybe the lore of Goatman, but it's got a lot of woods around it. It's got a creek running through it. The creek is really dirty and nasty and very like mucky mud looking. Um, and I think if you go deep enough into the woods, you would have some privacy if you were going out practicing spells or whatever it is maybe going on. I think you could find some secluded places down in the woods that might go unnoticed.
Do you think that there are portals there or anything that would kind of bring that to fruition to create that negative karma that could be in that area?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's one particular place, and it is a tree that's been split. It splits and it comes back. And we've been told by some of our psychic friends that have been with us is this is a portal. And it is very, very weird because it's not like lightning struck this tree. That would look a different way. There'd be some blackening of the tree and like the bark would be peeled back. There's none of that. There's none of that. And I do believe there is something to that tree. We always are finding trinkets, for lack of a better word, crosses, pentagrams. We've found things in the jar that I don't even know what it was, but oh, we don't ever mess with that stuff. If we leave it alone, we don't pick it up. I'm a big believer of, energy transfers, meaning if you touch something negative that can attach itself to you or, that sort of thing. So I definitely think there's probably more than one. I just particularly know about the one tree that I think is most definitely a place where the spirits come and go.
Are people bringing some sort of donation to the goat man?
I think it's offerings, definitely.
Friends,
Like, yeah, but I think it's not just to Goatman. I think there are some uh unholy worshiping being done that would summons demons and inhuman kind of spirits to the locations. And definitely we see things like I said, we found a jar once that was by the portal, and the tree is on a split of a trail on the trail, and there's just always weird stuff there, man. There's just always weird stuff, and this jar had like I don't know. I don't want to say body part, animal part. Let me say that. Some sort of internal organ. I don't know, of a squirrel, I
Ew.
don't know what it is, but it was not good. And it had, it just had some symbols on the outside. It was like a little glass jar, but it just had some writing and stuff on it that, mm,
So,
definitely, it's a no go. I'm not touching it.
so it's like somebody's doing some group or some people are doing almost rituals there
Yeah,
in
definitely.
order to raise the goat man from the
Yes.
beyond.
Oh, yes. Yes. Um, I will tell you this. This was probably one of the scariest things. And okay, I think I can talk about this. I was actually doing a haunted location probably in November, and there was some young men that wanted to interview me for a podcast. And because I was in Kansas, they were here at the bridge. We were going to do like a FaceTime kind of thing. And when we connected, the guys, there were 3 of them, and they're sitting in their car, and they're freaking the hell out. I mean, they're freaking out. I'm like, "What's happening? What's happening?" And they're like, "What is going on here at the bridge?" And I said, "I don't know what's happening." And so the kid turns his phone around, and Dave, I'm not kidding, no less than 500 people. And they have these big speakers out on the bridge, and it's all red, and they're saying F Goat Man. They're chanting this over and over and over. And the kid jumps back in the car and he goes, "What is this?" And I said, "I have no idea, but y'all need to get out of there. Like, get out now." And they're like, "Well, we want to stay. We want to know what's going on." I'm like, "Hell no, I don't know what that." How do you have a gathering of that large of crowd and nobody knows it? It has to be like dark web kind of stuff. There was nothing on Facebook, Twitter. There's no mention of, hey, let's all meet up here and do this chanting thing. So they're young kids, I would say younger, probably 18, 19, that was doing the podcast. And the kid goes, "I'm going to get out and go find out what's going on down here." So he takes the phone with him, and I'm on, and I'm just freaking out because I can see this sea of people, and they're chanting so loud, F Goat Man, F Goat Man. So the kid walks up to this guy, and he says, "Man, what's going on out here?" And he goes, "Release your inner demons. That's what we're doing. We're releasing our demons." Can you imagine all of these people with this negative energy in one location, and they're releasing their demons there? Oh my God. I never saw anything like it in my life. And I couldn't understand why the police wasn't there. And so one of the young boys was an African American, and he got scared to death, and he went back to the car. He's like, "What's going to happen to me?" Because part of the story with Goat Man is that there was an African American goat farmer that was hung by the KKK. And so this young man is just scared to death. And I'm like, "Listen, guys, I'm telling you, I don't know what this is. I don't know who these people are. I don't know about this. I think you're in a very, very unsafe thing." Then now this was just like November. And so later they're texting me, and the police showed up, and the police in our town was so afraid they did nothing. They did nothing. They didn't break it up. And I'm not trying to rag out on the police or anything. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just telling you what happened. And the police did nothing. And finally, the kids had gone up and they were watching it from a distance. And they said about 3 o'clock that it broke up, and the people left. Not one mention in our local newspaper, not one mention on Facebook. You could Google anything you wanted about goat men and that location with that many people, and you wouldn't find one thing. So we meaning my team and I, we think that I'm not techie, but I guess you can put blocks on words and stuff. So anybody trying to Google Goatman's Bridge or Old Alton Bridge, it would the police can put a block on that where nothing will come up. But in this day and age of social media, and you can't, walk out your front door without somebody filming you, any of that stuff. And this was so hush hush. So I'm terrified to hear stuff like that and to experience. Now I've got to be super careful that I'm taking a group of people through here, and this thing went down that they're saying release your inner demons. I really, really am cautious of it. It's so when I say things are getting worse, they're getting really, really bad down here.
Hmm.
I
That's
mean,
too
I don't know what the hell.
well, literally speaking, too.
I
No pun
know.
intended. No pun intended. I mean, have you seen the Goat Man?
I have one time.
Okay, tell us what. Set that up. Tell us that story.
Oh my gosh. It was about 5 of us, and we were in the center of the bridge, and it was late at night, and we're doing little EVP sessions, and it was just like I do a lot of private, tours where people just want the bridge to themselves or just wanna hear personal stories, and it was a small group, and we're talking in the center of the bridge, and we look down to one end, and I noticed, first of all, that the people are starting to see something behind me. Like I can just tell that they're looking, they're paying attention. And so I'm like, what is everybody looking at, right? What's going on? And literally at there's a big entrance to the woods, and then you walk on the bridge, and out of the entrance of the woods comes this head with long, like a white drapey. It was not a body of a goat that I saw, but it was the head. And it was like of a ram's head with big horns that came towards the face. And
Mhm.
now the people are freaking out that are with me. And I'm like, just stay calm. Cause it's so real to me. I can see like horns have little grooves in them. I can see the grooves in these horns, but I don't see feet. I don't see any feet or anything like that. Um, and it just comes up to the bridge and kind of stands there, kind of creepy like. And I just turn around because I don't know what to do. And I'm like, can I help you? Because I'm thinking, is this somebody dressed up? What is this?
That's some
So
Texas hospitality for a monster.
it's like, hey, you want to join us in an EVP session? I don't know. I don't know. And it turns around, it never says, "I don't see or hear a thing." Like, I know when I did Ghost Adventures, they were like, "Well, didn't you hear growling and grunting?" And I'm like, "No, I heard nothing. It was silence." But when it turned around, you could see there were no feet. There weren't hooves like of a goat, or there wasn't human feet. It was literally like suspended in air walking back into the woods. That was it. That's the only experience I have ever had with personally seeing the goat man. But um, that was terrifying. That was after it all went down. I'm like, let's go. That's enough for one night. Let's go.
How close were you to it?
30 feet, 40 feet.
Oh my goodness. That's a good view.
It
That,
was good.
that's
Yeah.
that's a good view.
Yeah. It was scary.
Wow. How did you remain calm?
Oh, that takes lots of practice too. I think you just have to. The one thing that I do believe in is fear can be your worst enemy, and it can also be fuel for the fire for uh, demons and spirits. If you're fearful, man, that's just opening the door even wider for them to come in and get to you when you're. I won't let my team come with me if they're having a bad day, if they've had an argument with a spouse or anything negative. You're like, not tonight, you don't get to go to this, because you really have to be on your game to protect yourself. So you just have to really know, if I react that I'm scared in this situation, it's going to be worse. So I think I'm just very, very cautious and cognitive of that don't react.
At any time, did you feel threatened by this?
I just didn't, not threatened. I didn't want it to come any closer. I can tell you that. But the silence of it, of not hearing it move in the grass and on the wood, the rocks, and just stand there. It just stood there. I don't. I would say, I don't know the actual time. It seemed like a long time, maybe a minute, long enough that we all, not just me, we all could describe it to a T and never miss a beat. We could describe the horns, the eyes, every bit of it to a T. So it was just creepy. The silence part that made me more scared, I think, than had I heard some sort of a growl or some sort of a I don't know what. I think the silence really, really creeped me out.
Was it
Besides
looking at you?
seeing it, oh yeah, totally.
It was looking at you.
Yeah, it didn't have red eyes. Everybody's like, "Do it have red eyes?" No, it had black eyes. They were black. Pure black. Like you couldn't even see eyes really where the eye sockets were.
How did you know it was a cryptid and not someone in a mask trying to play a prank?
When it turned around and moved and I couldn't see any feet. I couldn't see any feet or any sort of shuffling in the leaves or the grass or gravel. There was nothing like that.
And there was gravel in the area where it was walking.
Hmm. So I think for me, that was kind of a crap. What did we just see moment? I think had it been somebody dressed up, I think we would have heard footsteps on the gravel. We would have heard some shuffling of the leaves. We would have heard something, and there was nothing. And again, there was no feet or anything at the bottom.
Wow. Unbelievable.
It was scary.
Unbelievable. I mean, how was your team reacting at this point?
Oh, they're scared to death. Scared to death. The people on the bridge were like, I mean, they're all huddling up, like, and I'm telling them, don't react, don't react, don't react. But they're scared. They're scared to death. I mean, they see this thing and they had seen it way before me because they saw it coming up through the woods. They could see the silhouette of this thing coming. And so they're kind of whispering back and forth, and I'm like, I don't know what they're doing because my back is to it. But then I can see what they're looking at as it comes out of the woods and up to the bridge. And I know many people that have said that they've seen things there, just I don't want to say it's a common occurrence, but it does happen. Let me just say it does happen.
Have you had any other encounters with this creature? Have you heard it? Have you felt
Mhm.
it being around since?
Yes. There was one time we were taking a tour through what we call the good side of the bridge, and we have the bad side of the bridge. The good side has a lot of children's spirits there that are very active, and they'll play with your hair and they'll touch you, and we get a lot of smells on that side, like fried chicken, old-timey smells, peach cobbler, strawberries, this sort of thing, because one of the spirits that we communicate with on that side is a lady named Eleanor who loves to cook. So we get a lot of stuff like that. So nothing negative on that side. But then we go to the other side where we believe the clan was coming through the woods and all kinds of things happen over there. And we were told by one of our psychic friends that that is where this goat man creature actually was summoned into the location, was there. But I've heard growls. Like, I'm a country girl, obviously. I know the sounds of the woods. I know, possums and all of this. I know all of that. This was
Becky
not
Vickers
one of those.
with their ghost story of the Goat Man. It's an incredible story, an incredible sight when you see a monster that isn't supposed to exist right in front of your very eyes. We continue on Spaced Out Radio right after this. Stay tuned. All right, we are clear. Hi, YouTube, Bizevel. Welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for joining us. And who else is here? What's a squatch, Deidre? What's a squatch? I know what a Sasquatch is. I don't know what a squatch is. Glades Creature, welcome to SOR Chat. And what else do we have here? Laura Lobbs wants to know what's on your bucket list of locations, but I'll ask that during the show. Let's see here. Anybody else come in I missed? I think we're clear. Oh, good question there, Paramarv. I got it. Oh, YouTube Bizevel lives in Campbell River. I coached hockey in that rink there. I did. Way back in the day when I was coaching the old Port Alberni Bandits of the Vancouver Island Junior Hockey League before they became the Port Alberni Bulldogs.
That's so
How's
cool.
that for history? You know what's funny about that? I got fired halfway through the season, 2 points out of first place. My team was.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't like my co-coach who had hired me to co-coach with him. So he quit and I got fired because they figured they'd change the whole coaching staff. The team finished like 3 points out of last place.
Oh,
Going from 2 points out of first to 3 points out of last place.
that sucks.
My final game I coached, I ended up with a 6-game suspension because I fought the other coach behind the benches.
Dave, what?
Yeah, he was mouthing off my captain. So I went over the plexiglass. There was a penalty box was in between us. I went over the plexiglass. I told him basically shut the hell up in a lot more derogatory words. And he got mad at me and he says, "Meet me in the back." So he left the bench. I left the bench, and everybody in the stands watched us fight. It was
Look
awesome.
at you, such a badass.
Yeah, man, it was fun. It was fun.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the way I do it. It's the way I do it.
Nobody better mess with you, man.
Yeah, those are the old days. Blue Cruz, how are you? Who else is here? See who else? Cowichan slang. That's funny, Deidre. That's funny. Yeah, lots of Sasquatch around Cowichan. A lot of UFO sightings there too. Vancouver Island's beautiful. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Lots of Vancouver Islanders here tonight. That's awesome. We're doing the passport thing tomorrow. Drawing out the house and then using a pendulum. That happens tomorrow. I can't find my passport. I haven't found. So I had it when I got home. I'm 99% positive I had it when I got home from Vegas last year, and I haven't found my passport since. Don't know where the hell it is. So I'm doing a pendulum thing tomorrow to see if I can find it before I have to report it missing.
Do you have dowsing rods? You need to use dowsing rods.
Why? That would be kind of cool. Paramarv, that is very true. Dave's nose was so messed up from fighting that it took aliens to fix it. And my CPAP. Aliens and my CPAP. That's a true story. True story. No, still don't have my passport. I was thinking today, I wonder if I pissed off the little people or the gnomes. Seriously. And they may have taken my passport.
Uh-oh.
I'm hoping not. I'm going to find out. This weekend, I am totally going to find out. It's my mission. Thank you tonight to underscore Maddie, T-Bone with a hat trick, W. Decker, Debarino, Major Lee ×2. And we got the next half hour with our good friend, the Beckster, coming up right now. Here we go with the next half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. We're past the halfway point. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Always appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Final time tonight, we say hello to Becky Vickers. And right before the break, we were talking about her encounter with the legendary Goatman creature. Scary as hell as that is. I wouldn't want to run up to one of these. Not at all.
No.
Becky, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, it's been so fun. It's such a it's always fun talking with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now just make your way to Reno for our fan party and all will be well. All will be well.
Tell all your fans to come and go with us.
I have been.
I know. They need to sign up and come on.
I agree. Let's get to some audience questions here. Corey wants to know, have you ever seen any left-handed symbols there at the bridge?
Left-handed symbols, meaning like what? I'm not sure I understand that.
I'm left-handed, and I don't even understand that one.
Corey,
what's wrong with lefties? What's wrong with us lefties?
I don't know what that means. Left-handed symbols.
We'll find out.
Okay. Sorry, Corey.
Wayne wants to know, I live in San Antonio, Texas. Any portals in San Antonio?
Ooh, that's a good question. Man, San Antonio has a lot of cool places. There is something, of course, about the Alamo down in that area. And I think the Minger Hotel down in that area may have a portal in the center of the hotel in their courtyard. Many moons ago, there was an actual register in Texas that if you pass this test and all of this kind of stuff, that they would list you as somebody you could call to help if you have a paranormal situation. And so I was trying to pass this test, and part of the test was to do a research paper on a haunted location, and you had to hit all these points. And man, did the Minger Hotel, when I was in the center, just have the vibe of a portal. Just so many spirits you could just feel just kind of swirling in that location. So I think that's one that stands out in my head, Wayne, is the Minger Hotel in that courtyard in the center of it.
That sounds creepy. That sounds creepy. All right, let's go over to our next question. This one from Laura Lobbs, who is asking, Becky, what is on your bucket list of locations?
Oh, Laura, I'm so glad you've asked me that. This year, I have had several things on my bucket list that I've been able to accomplish. The Sally House, the Lizzie Borden House. This year, I have already booked it, going to get it done. I'm going to Trans-Allegheny Asylum and Lake Shawnee. So I am pumped up about those two locations for sure.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Laura, come and go.
Absolutely. You're like all over the place. I hope you get there. I hope you get there. I don't have a special location that I
No?
want to. No. My big thing,
What?
I like going to locations that have never been investigated.
Oh, yeah, they're the
I
best. When you
I
find a
love
little hidden gem.
I love small town legends.
Hmm.
'Cause
I agree.
every small town has one. It's like every major city has the lady in white waiting to be
Mhm.
picked up. I don't know
Yep,
why, but it just seems like every major city has that lady in white ghost waiting to be picked up as a hitchhiker.
I
Yeah.
agree.
But the small town stories, those are just the best. Just the best. Let's go to Paramarv. Any chance there are trail cam footage of this goat man or anything like that?
You know what? At one time, the city had surveillance cameras out in the location, but I think that was more because the kids would come out and jump off the bridge and this sort of thing. But those cameras aren't there anymore. As far as I know, no one has put up cameras. I think because it is a public bridge, even if you tried to do that, it would be hard. I think people might take them, that sort of thing. I guess you could go further down into the woods. I don't know that I know of many sightings in the area. Most that I know of are actually around the bridge. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to have a trail cam of it. Love to have I have some video footage because I use body cams like the police use. And so I just take those with me. Um, but unfortunately I've never gotten anything but shadows, not like what I physically saw that night at the bridge with the ram horns coming towards the face and that sort of thing. But I don't know that you'd be able to put those up and they would last because there's just too many people that come out there at night.
Hmm.
But that's a
So
good idea.
I was Googling what left-handed symbols are, and I haven't found a proper answer yet. But on Google, it
Yeah.
is asked, what does it mean spiritually to be left-handed?
What
It
does it
says
mean?
it says other practitioners state the difference between the two, left-handed, right-handed, is that the desired outcome of the right is to be beside God and to serve him, while the left believe in self-deification and bow to no one.
What?
Yeah.
That means you're creepy, Dave.
I am creepy. I'm I'm
I'm
ambidextrous, but I'm creepy at the same time. Thank you.
wow, I never heard that.
Yeah. All right. The Doug Shelby would like to know, hey Becky, have you heard of the Sasquatch are somewhat smaller in Texas than up north?
Doug, absolutely. I think I have captured, and I talked about this with Dave before, a picture of a Sasquatch out at the bridge. So, not only do we have all of this paranormal stuff, and a lot of people believe that that is somewhat related to, UFOs and Sasquatch and this sort of thing. But you need to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to send it to you. But I would a lot of times walk through the trails to make sure there's nothing in the way when we're going down there that anybody could get hurt on. And take pictures when I go sometimes. And I caught this oh, what is it called when they're little? What is it called when they're little? Um I don't know. I forget. Um I caught this picture of this really hairy thing nestled back up in the tree kind of squatting down. It freaked me out. Like, is this a thing out here? What is this? But I guess with the woods and the big lake there, it definitely would be a good place for a Sasquatch. Um, dang, I'm so focused on what this when I posted about it, because I did post about it, and somebody said, "Oh, most definitely that is a whatever it means, smaller." And, so they were actually gonna come out and meet up with me, and we were gonna go try and locate this thing, but that never came to fruition. But I think there is definitely room around here, and Oklahoma is right on the border with us, and there is all of the mountains and stuff. And Oklahoma is just full of sightings of Bigfoot and Sasquatch. So why wouldn't there be one that maybe made its way down to the thick woods there around the bridge?
You never know.
Don't.
You never know. All
Good
right,
question, Doug.
let's go to Rock and Rory. When did the Goat Man show up at the old Alton Bridge? Used to live very close to there.
Oh, cool, cool. I have been in this area for 30 years and I had never heard of this before when I moved here. And then somebody, because I was into the ghost hunting, said, "Have you ever been to the bridge?" At that time, it was still an actual working bridge, and people were going out and honking 3 times on the bridge, and this supposedly would be summoning the goat man. So I know it's been around that long. When I interviewed several people whose grandparents grew up here and had lived in the area for many, many years, they all already knew the story. So I think it's definitely been around. The actual story itself in the time period that took place with Oscar and the KKK and all of this happened in the mid 1800s. So I'm assuming that would been the time that this whole thing would have came about.
Very awesome. Very awesome. All right. Another question from Paramarv, who is
Oh,
asking, what kind of gifts are being brought to the Goat Man? Is it like drawings, flowers, maybe spleens?
oh my gosh. The things that I see are black candles, again, things in jars, um, definitely symbols, but I don't know about the left hand symbol thing. I just things like there's always just things laying around. Maybe there's even toys, little toys sometimes. Cloth. There's always like pieces of cloth out there. Stuff like that. Just I haven't seen a spleen out there, but I'll let you know if I do.
I wouldn't want to see a spleen.
No, I might be done. I might have to give up the touring business.
Hmm. Love Jackie Harmon's comment on Facebook saying left-handed people are the only ones in their right mind. Oh, you're sticking up for us, Jackie. Thank
Yay.
you. Jackie will actually be a guest on this show. Oh, when is that? Oh, next Friday.
Ooh.
Next Friday, she'll be a guest. It's going to be awesome. Going to be awesome. Looking forward to speaking with her as we continue on with our great friend Becky Vickers tonight. All right. Let's see. Any more questions here? Mm, let's see here.
I have seen
Uh,
flowers.
You
I
have seen
see on
flowers?
Paramarv's thing where he says flowers. Definitely, there has been some flowers out there.
All right. Well, let's get back to the ghosts for a second here. Have you ever had a situation out at the Goat Man Bridge with ghosts?
Oh yeah, for sure. Shadows. There are lots and lots of shadows. Very tall shadows that you can see dart between the trees. Um, there are mist out there that lots of people have caught. Different people, different groups, paranormal groups that come out. Um, there is particularly a green ball of light that floats around. I don't To me, that is spirit related. It may not be a ghost like people envision, you know, an apparition or whatever, but orbs are balls of spirit and things like this. But there's definitely a green one out there. And the significance to that is green orbs have lots to do with nature. So I feel like the green orb is a spirit that is there for protection, maybe not a negative spirit, but it's pretty cool when you catch that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. What's the weirdest type of spirit activity you've dealt with?
Oh, you mean physical activity, like things I've seen? Oh, I did a Halloween special for a television show in McKinney, Texas, and we went to a haunted bar to interview the owner for this Halloween special. And all of the camera guys were there, and their equipment kept dying, and this sort of thing. And I went to get new battery packs, and we were on the second floor with probably a row of 10 bar chairs, not with just stools, and they were all lined up. I literally walked past them, picked up a battery pack, turned around. Every single bar chair was stacked on top of the bar. Like it would be physically impossible to do that in 10 seconds. I was freaking out. I'm like, uh, guys, look at the bar stools. Look at the bar stools. And we had it on video. We
Oh,
had where when they turned around, one of the camera guys had, you could see all the bar stools up, sitting upright. They weren't turned upside down. They were like somebody set them up on the bar. That was pretty amazing to me. I mean, that was firsthand. Walked right by, turned it literally around, and there they all were on the bar. That kind of freaked me out.
it's just crazy. Have
It
you ever
was.
been attacked by a spirit?
I have. I have. I've had scratches. I've had my hair pulled, but this is a true story, and I know you guys aren't going to believe me, and that's okay. I went to a haunted hotel in New Orleans, no less, and physically had my leg jerked out of the bed so much that it freaked me out so damn bad that I slept like curled up in the ball sitting upright, and I'm just screaming, "You can't touch me, you can't touch me, you can't touch me." Because when it grabbed my leg, whatever this was, I could see the covers was coming off, everything was coming off. It scared the hell out of me. That was pretty intense. That shook me up for a little while.
Wow. What was with the vengeance behind that?
There's just I tried to find out from the hotel. Like I knew it was haunted, but it was haunted by like a maid that had died there, and the hotel had buried her, came up with the money for the funeral. I guess she didn't have family. I don't think this was that. I don't think this was that. I think this was something else in New Orleans that I definitely felt negative, very, very negative energy with it. So I really don't know. Nobody really wanted to talk anything about ghosts at that hotel.
Is it still an active, like, open hotel to the
It
public?
is. It's called it's L.A. La Pillion, I think is the way you say it. It's from the early 1800s. It is stunningly beautiful. It's not old and creepy. It's stunningly beautiful. But yeah, that was quite an experience. That's the only time I think I've ever been yanked or jerked or anything like that from being asleep.
Wow. Wow. I mean, have you ever woken up to a spirit staring at you?
I have not. I have not had that experience. Have you?
I I have probably the strangest experience I've had was when I was lying in bed one night and I was sleeping on my stomach and I just was falling into that deep sleep and I felt my right leg get picked up.
Oh yeah, it's creepy when they definitely touch your
And,
body.
and I literally turned my head and I go, "Really? Not tonight, please. I'm way
Uh-huh.
too tired." And then they gently put my leg back down and I went back to sleep.
See, now how were you calm through that? How did that not freak you out?
I was just too tired. Too tired. But
It's after my bedtime. Leave me alone.
I told our audience this, I don't know if you know or not, I'm an ET abductee,
I did
and
know that.
and a week and a half ago, I had this dream. My dad was there. I'm gonna keep it short because we're running out of time. My dad was there, and I remember being taken, and I remember, having something done to my chest, And when I woke up, that I knew I was only gone for like an hour, if that, because I went to bed just after 1, and I woke up at 2:09 in the morning. And I went and turned, and I knew they were standing right behind me. I just knew it. And as I kind of peered over, I looked out the window, and I saw this giant flash of white light down onto my patio, because my bedroom window overlooks my patio.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I knew that they were gone at that moment. And that's when I realized that something had happened. Called my dad up the next morning and said, "Hey, Dad, how'd you sleep last night?" He goes, "Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all." He goes, "I woke up a couple of times." I said, "Well, what time did you wake up?" He goes, "Well, I woke up at 7:15 this morning." I said, "No, first time you woke up last night. What time was it?" He goes, "I don't know. It was shortly after 2:00. And I went, "Oh, yeah." I'm starting to giggle.
And this just happened a week and a half ago?
Yeah, a week and a half ago. And I said, like, when I woke up, I had to go to the bathroom, and the minute my feet touched the ground, I went into this deep shivering cold. Like, I was so freaking cold. Um, Went to the bathroom, my teeth were chattering, you know. I literally hopped in the shower afterwards because I was so cold. And then I
Wow.
went back to bed. So I said to my dad, I said, "Well, why'd you wake up?" He goes, "Well, I heard a bang, and in my dream, I had dropped a cell phone before getting taken." And he heard a bang that woke him up, but he woke up really cold. So he went and got himself another blanket. So that's two synchronicities. He woke up around 2:09 and he was really cold. So he got another blanket. I said, "Well," and I had felt something done to my chest. I knew that something had happened to my chest. And so I asked my dad, I said, "Well, how do you feel this morning?" And he goes, "To be honest, I feel great." He goes, "This is the first morning in months I've woken up where I wasn't coughing and wheezing." Well, you cough and wheeze out of your chest. It was weird.
So do you think that they transferred something? Like,
I don't know. I don't know what they did, but it was an eye opener.
is your chest still hurting?
No, my chest doesn't hurt at all. No, I was going down a bad path health wise, and I think they cleared something out of my chest.
Oh, you think they did something good?
Yes.
I didn't know. I thought because your dad maybe wasn't feeling well and then suddenly he was that, and you said you had something with
I
your heart.
think I think that both of us got fixed.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I think. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, you're high, you're on drugs." No way, man.
That's okay. People say that about me. If you see
Yeah.
ghosts and goat man, you got to be on something. All
Mhm.
I am is I drink sweet tea. That's it.
That's good until you get to Reno for our fan party.
Yeah. Then we're gonna live it up.
Becky's gonna get the 9-ounce glass of wine.
That's right.
9-ounce glass. Becky, tell everybody where they can find your work.
Oh, you guys can find me on all the social media platforms. Just look up Becky Vickers. Just getting into TikTok. So don't judge me on my videos, but I do have a lot of fun videos, mostly to do with my haunted house and stuff that happens all the time here. And you can go to my blog, Beck's Ghost Hunters, like BECKS, Beck's Ghost Hunters. And yeah, just on all the social medias. Beck's Ghost Hunters on everything and Becky Vickers. You guys come and
Excellent.
hop over and see my stuff.
We'd love to. And we'd love to see you in Reno for the 3rd annual SOR fan party as well. And I know you're going to try hard to get there, and we're hoping that everything works out. Now, coming up next in hour 3, Steve Stockton from Among the Missing. Then the mustached wonder of the world, Terry Hall, joins us for the UFO report. We got an update on the MUFON story next. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. It was so fun.
Yes, we'll talk soon, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Becky Vickers, everybody. The Becky Vickers says good night to us. Jackie Harmon's all ready for next week. Apparently, she is picking her outfit out, doing some stretching, and making sure that everything's A-okay. I'm going to take a quick break. You guys take a quick break. We'll be right back, guys. Hold on. right. Good super chats tonight from Major Lee ×2, T-Bone ×3, W. Decker, Deborah Rooney, and _ Maddie. How we doing? Who's saying good morning over on Facebook? Mark Dash, how are you? How are you? Good to see you. We're going to return in like 15 seconds. We got a good show going on. It's a fun night. Lots of good news on the UFO side, too. Here we go, everybody.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Gimmel. Gimmel is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. It is that time of the night where we say hello to Steve Stockton from Among the Missing and Another Creepy Story.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Among the Missing YouTube channel on Spaced Out Radio. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'm about to take you on an unbelievable journey of people just like you. Their stories and encounters will haunt us on Among the Missing. Nicole Louise Morin was an 8-year-old girl born on April 1, 1977. She was the only child of Arthur and Jeanette Morin, who had been married for 12 years before her birth. In July 1985, Nicole lived with her mother in a penthouse apartment on the 20th floor in the Etobicoke borough of Toronto, while her father lived in Mississauga. Nicole was enjoying her summer vacation from Wellsworth Junior School, where she was in the 3rd grade. Nicole was a cheerful child who enjoyed spending time with her friends. On July 30, 1985, at approximately 10:30 a.m., Nicole went to the lobby to collect the mail. She then returned to her apartment to prepare for a planned swim date with a friend. The pool was located at the back of their building complex. Before leaving her apartment, she spoke to her friend via the intercom and said she would meet her in the lobby shortly. Nicole left her apartment around 11 a.m. wearing a peach-colored one-piece bathing suit, a green hairband, and red canvas shoes. She carried a plastic bag containing a white t-shirt, green and white shorts, suntan lotion, a hairbrush, a peach-colored blanket, and a purple beach towel. After 15 minutes, Nicole's friend buzzed her apartment to ask why she had not met her yet. Nicole's mother, Jeanette, who was busy taking care of small children in her daycare group, assumed that Nicole had gone to the pool alone or was playing with other children at the back of the complex. She did not call the police to report Nicole missing until around 3 p.m. The police investigation initially involved active searches and canvassing all the apartments in the complex. On the first day, the police set up roadblocks around the building and used vehicles with public address systems to alert the neighborhood residents about the missing child's description. The police knocked on every door in Nicole's 429-unit complex and entered apartments even if no one answered the knock. After a woman who lived in the building identified Nicole from a photograph, the police determined that Nicole had traveled down the elevator and entered the lobby. However, no other evidence was found regarding Nicole's whereabouts from there. The following day, more officers from the Toronto Police Service were deployed to assist in the search. A police dragnet, including mounted equestrians, marine units, helicopters, and foot patrols, started scouring the area near the apartment building and Highway 27. Tracking dogs were also brought in to explore the building's underground garages, utility rooms, storage units, and sump pump rooms. A neighbor remembered seeing an unidentified blonde woman with a notebook on the floor of Nicole's apartment building about 45 minutes before her disappearance. The police tried to find her as a potential witness, but they could not identify her, and no one came forward claiming to be her. Over 900 residents from the neighborhood participated in the search for Nicole. The newly established Toronto Crime Stoppers took on the case as their first significant one. They offered a $1,000 reward, created posters, and produced a video reenactment of Nicole's last known movements, which aired on television a few weeks later. The Toronto Star published 6,000 copies of a poster that displayed Nicole's picture and the phone number of the Metro Toronto Police. Additionally, the Toronto Police created 3,000 copies of a watercolor sketch of Nicole, which were distributed to police departments, post offices, and local stores. Staff Sergeant Madeline Treader said the search for Nicole was, quote, the largest for a missing person in Toronto police history, end quote. The police formed a 20-member task force that worked tirelessly for 9 months, investing 25,000 hours in pursuing leads. By November, they had questioned around 6,000 individuals. The first year of the investigation cost an estimated $1.8 million. Additionally, the police offered a $100,000 reward for Nicole's safe return, which remains valid today. Police cleared all family members and acquaintances. An unexplained note was found in the apartment, which Nicole had written in pencil a few months earlier, stating, quote, I'm going to disappear, end quote. Police were unsure of the significance of what Nicole had written, as kids that age often write all sorts of things, authorities said. Art Morin, Nicole's father, defied the police advice and raised funds to hire a private investigator to search for his missing daughter in both Canada and the United States. He even left his job to set up an office to aid in the search. After Nicole's disappearance, Art moved back in with Jeanette, but they eventually separated in 1987. Jeanette also tried to locate her daughter by consulting a psychic in Calgary. In 2001, Toronto Crime Stoppers circulated an age-enhanced picture of Nicole via the internet to more than 1,000 Crime Stoppers programs in 17 countries. The picture depicted her as a woman in her mid-20s. Child Find Ontario has also worked to keep public awareness of the case alive by displaying Nicole's picture, physical description, and age-enhanced photographs on electronic screens in Esso gas stations, billing envelopes from Rogers Cable, and the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, Toronto Transit Commission display screens, and on the back of transport trucks. In 2004, researchers for a Belgian organization announced that they had tentatively matched photographs of Nicole seen on a Canadian police website with pictures on a Dutch website that advocates for missing and exploited children. Using biometrical analysis, the researchers claimed a strong resemblance between Nicole and a child in Zandvoort. Several video reenactments of Nicole's last movements have been produced, including a reenactment for GTA's Most Wanted in 2007. On the 29th anniversary of her disappearance in 2014, the Toronto Police Video Unit made another reenactment, which was also screened at Mac's convenience stores throughout Ontario. In 2015, the Toronto Police organized a 5K run called Nicole's Run in honor of the 30th anniversary of her disappearance.
Thank you, Steve Stockton from Among the Missing, for another spooky story just like that. If you want more, head on over to youtube.com/Among the Missing, and you can get the full stories right there. From the missing to the mysterious, it's time for the UFO report. Filling in for a working Courtney Marcassani, who is on assignment, here's Terry Hall.
Nobody's going to know. They're going to know.
Terry Hall, good to have you with us tonight. We'll get you to unmute your mic and make things happen because we got an update on our story from MUFON. Now, as you know, we broke the MUFON story a few days ago where we found out that their CMS server had been hacked and that they're still locked out. Well, this is bad news because there's over 100,000 cases of this going on, and that are currently in the hands of someone else. Now, we don't know who's doing it, what's doing it, but today I got an update from MUFON president and the head of the board of directors, Dave McDonald, through their PR company, A10 Associates. Now, this was very interesting because I did not expect to be contacted by them, but they contacted me and we got right to it, exchanged a few notes. Now, they say right now they don't know, and as far as they know, no personal information has been released or compromised, which is good news. They let out a statement, thanks to us. It says, MUFON was the victim of a hack within their CMS database, which caused a disruption in the reporting capabilities of the system, causing it to become temporarily unavailable to MUFON members. As of 3 p.m., Friday, February 9th, 2024, there's been no reports of any compromised data. The requisite state and federal authorities have been contacted and are investigating accordingly. This is good news. However, former MUFON member and current head of Tessa.org or TessaCan.org, Ryan Stacy, states that the hacking actually happened a few days ago. Yeah, a few days before it got released. That's very interesting. Terry, is your microphone good to go there?
Well, I'm hoping so.
Good. Just wasn't sure. Something else that we have learned today about this story, Terry, MUFON Canada has also been hacked. Now,
Mhm.
now, if it was just MUFON, you might sit there and say, well, maybe it's one of those ransomware programs for information or something like that. But the fact that MUFON Canada was attacked as well, this
Well,
is really strange, Terry. What's your thoughts?
this is apparently a targeted attack, and the problem with this is MUFON always known that its CMS was leaking. It's been going on for years, but like you've always said, Dave, if what do you say about MUFON? If it doesn't, if they don't see it, it doesn't happen.
No, if they don't talk about it, it doesn't happen.
They don't talk about it, it doesn't happen. That's what it is. Well, they've talked about the CMS leaks for a long time. And what's really silly about this is with modern technology nowadays, you've got multi-factor authentication. I mean, they're running this thing like it's an old laptop sitting in someone's basement. So they've known for a very, very long time that this was a possibility. Now, from what I've been able to gather and from what I've read, the ISP that actually hacked into MUFON was traced to the East Coast. They didn't specify where in the East Coast, but don't you find that a little odd that they more or less traced it down to somewhere around the Washington area? And then
Well,
I've also heard that they're willing to commit perjury more or less to cover this. And that's not right either. What do you think about that, Pete?
well, the problem with these hacking systems is these hackers are so smart that they can really get into a system and you'll never know where they are because they have so many IP cover-ups that are happening every couple of minutes. So, I mean, 1 minute it might be on the East Coast, the next minute it might be in Iceland, the next minute it might be in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the next minute it might be your IP address, Terry, or mine. You know, it's very weird. Uh, I don't know that much. I'm not computer savvy. Okay.
That's why that's why it was so strange, though, Dave, is that with the ability to run a virtual private network, that's what your VPN is. Uh, for it to trace back to the East Coast seems just it's almost like they're meant it's are they manufacturing this like the government's trying to hack into MUFON because it traced back to the East Coast? How did they even trace it back to the
Well,
East Coast?
I think from what I have heard in regards to the IP address that was given is that it was a cover. And I got this confirmed from 3 different sources today. The IP address was something, Terry, that was a cover address.
So
It
it was
was a
an onion skin.
yeah, it was an onion skin. That's a great metaphor for it. And I'm going to be honest with you. MUFON hasn't been perfect. Okay. They have caused a lot of tension over the years that a lot of people in ufology have never forgiven, whether it's not cleaning up the Robert Bigelow buy in, whether it was the John Ventry racism scandal, whether it was the former president Jan Harzan arrest that he allegedly was luring children, which is an ugly, ugly thing that still hasn't gone to court. And we still got to wait for a follow up on that.
Right.
But MUFON does a lot of good. And believe it or not, there are a lot of good people within MUFON. We have MUFON listeners. We have a lot of MUFON guests. Some of my favorite guests to have on this show, whether it's Lorian Fenton or Katie Page or many others, Earl Grey and many others, they are MUFON members. And I really, really enjoy getting an opportunity to chat with them. And I want to be able to state that we're breaking this news, but I mean this can happen to any business. It really could. There is a real problem with hacking, especially from enemies of the NATO countries. I think China, North Korea, Russia, Iran has a big hacking program as well. So I mean, it is scary what is going on in the world, that anybody and their dog can attack and bring down a system like this. But like you said, I think there is some suspicion to this. Now we got to be careful with what we say is suspicion, because you don't want to go blaming people or groups or whatever for this kind of thing. But I have other sources that have said to me that there are a lot more groups than just this that are getting hit right now. I have sources that have said that certain television shows that I can't name right now because I don't have permission to talk about it, popular television shows, I'll leave it at that, have been hit with a lot of disruption recently. Another UFO group, I'm waiting for confirmation on this, but I'm hearing New Fork and their website has been hit as well. And if they're going after a bunch of UFO sites, I personally don't see that as being China or Russia, North Korea, Iran, or any other dark enemy country, or who we'd consider enemy countries for that. What's your thoughts, Terry?
Well, it doesn't matter if you're a giant like Sony, if you're Hollywood making a movie, you're subject to being hacked, just like you said. It's not that you and I have anything against MUFON. I don't have anything against MUFON. I've never tried to tear MUFON down. But I think, if anything, this should be a wake up call, not only to MUFON, but to, I mean, even some of the other larger ones that we've heard about. It's time to take this stuff a little bit more seriously than they have been. If a single man like David Marler can gather all the information that man has gathered, keep it private, and he's actually digitizing everything, but he hasn't gotten hacked because he's using current technology. I do believe that with some of the other developments that are going on right now, that this very well could be a targeted attack for just to kind of try, because we've both been told that that disclosure is the government's working so hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube that once that now that the public is gaining ground and has the technology to try to source these things out for ourselves, those records have become more important. And what the bad part about it is some of the people that call MUFON and make those reports only call MUFON and make those reports. They didn't want that information out to their, not to anybody who wants it, but even to their friends and family. So now it's time for MUFON and all the other places that gather this much information on this topic to revamp the way they're doing things. It's time to make these files more secure so that people are comfortable and have a place that they can report this kind of phenomena, because we all know that finding someone to talk to about this when something like that really happens to you is very difficult. And to take
It
that
is.
venue away from us, and make us feel violated, because that's like someone breaking into your home. That's just not a good thing.
Well, and that's exactly it. And I mean, we're so reliant on computers and technology right now that I mean, it's unconscionable that we'd go through those horrors, and people have gone through those horrors of having their phones hacked or their computers hacked or whatever it may be. I mean, that's a scary situation. I don't wish that upon anybody. I mean, and let's face it, it is a type of terrorism. It doesn't matter who does it, it's a type of terrorism, domestic or outside. And when we look at that, and we look at groups like MUFON and the way that there is something going on. I was having a conversation earlier tonight with a couple of people, and one of the points that came up in that conversation was there is a lot of counterintelligence really turning against the ufology program, trying to get this back under the rug. They are targeting Elizondo, Chris Mellon. They're targeting David Grush and any other potential whistleblower that may come out publicly. They are watching everything that we do. Now, to some people, that may sound paranoid, okay, and conspiratorial. But the fact about in regards to it is I have sources who've told me within government in the US that this is happening. And these are people who you'll never hear in the ufology world, okay? But they have a vested interest in it, and they have told me to be careful with what we're reporting on, because there's a lot of bad actors in this game right now, and it's all going to come to fruition because members of the US government, and especially the military agencies, they want ufology gone. They want it back under the rug, and they're tired of dealing with it, and we're going to get the results of that. Coming up next on Spaced Out Radio's UFO Report with Terry Hall, filling in for Courtney Marcassani. Has Sean Kirkpatrick changed his stripes when it comes to UFOs? We'll get back to it when we return on Spaced Out Radio. That was a fast half hour. Holy cow.
It went, but that felt like 5 minutes, Dave.
Totally. I look at the clock and we had like 2.5 minutes left. I was like, what? What? All right.
Yeah, this
Coming in.
thing with
Sorry.
no, that thing with MUFON, it does. It feels like someone broke into your house. Now we need to.
It really
No.
does. It really does. Let's see here. Hello, showing up late, Superknower, and the gorgeous and talented Kim Jellin, who is flossing her teeth as we speak.
Always got to floss. Always remember to floss.
Always. Yeah. She brushes and flosses at least 3 times a day. Seriously, when I met her in San Francisco at UFO Con, she literally had the most beautiful teeth I've ever seen. Seriously. Gentry Anderson, how are you?
Gentry. Hey, Gentry.
Shaq Russellford, how you doing?
Miss you, Gentry.
Hold on. What does this mean? You've got no room to talk about invading people's personal spaces and devices, Dave. I don't get that.
I don't get that either.
I don't get that either. Explain that one to me, Shaq.
Unless we're talking about like them hacking and bugging Dave, which happens quite often.
I don't get that.
Mm.
And
It's kind of an odd statement.
oh, NSA and random guy. Yeah, it ain't them.
Oh.
It ain't them. I can tell you that. You know.
That was good. That was good.
I miss NSA guy and random guy around here. That was fun.
Threw Dave a curveball there.
Any Fresno Nightcrawler information? No. I haven't heard any reports of those. New reports for a long time. Let me see here.
I am making a request, guys. You all were talking about telekinesis and being in touch earlier. Tell Dave where his passport went.
Yeah. We're doing a big passport thing tomorrow at the house. We're drawing a map of the house, and we're going to put a pendulum over it. I might even, and somebody, I forget who it was in the chat room, stated to use dowsing rods too. So I got to get, I got to borrow my buddy's dowsing rods to see if I can
That's a good idea.
get them located. Yeah.
Actually, they do make these little AirPod thingies that you can kind of slide in the pocket, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Along with 100 Canadian and $100 bill in there, just in the passport that you just kind of keep in the passport.
Mm-hmm.
Dave,
I hear you. Hi, Magneticus. How are you?
And down here stateside.
If you want to take a picture with Terry Hall's mustache, you got to join us in Reno for the SOR fan party. Doubleday, how
The
you
mustache
doing?
is kind of grown down the side of the face.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I'm almost 60, dude, and I've never in my entire life ever had a beaver.
Well, it's looking good, Ter. It's looking good.
I figured I'd try it until my wife told me I have to cut it off. So,
Kim Jellin, are you coming to Reno? It's like right next door to you. Grant is working hard these days, and he gets here when he can. We miss Grant around here.
A whole bunch.
We're waiting for him to get permission to be able to come back on the air. You better, Kim Jellin. I want a picture with your teeth. I do.
Maybe when Grant comes down to Reno this year, your listening audience can maybe sway him a little bit back towards home.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's a good point. Very good point. Let us say thank you tonight to Major Lee ×2, Deb W. Decker, T-Bone with a hat trick, and _ Matty. I don't think I'm missing anybody. No, that's it. Thank you for the love and support, everybody. We very much appreciate it. And we're going to continue on here with the show right now. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. I always appreciate you tuning us on in. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We continue on tonight with the UFO report. Our good friend Terry Hall is filling in for the vacationing and working Courtney Marcassani, who's on assignment in the East Coast. Man, if I could tell you what she was working on, I'm going to have a conversation with Courtney tomorrow to see about maybe breaking some news here when she returns. It's going to be exciting. Very, very exciting. Terry, welcome back.
Thank you for having me, boss.
We
Good to
appreciate
be here.
we love you around here, my man. We really do. Here's an
Buddy
interesting
back.
story, Terry, that came out from the Sun in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read the entire story from the Sun, but it's going to be really hard for anybody who's been following us with the UFO story on this report. It's going to be really hard to believe. And as a journalist, if I put my journalist hat back on, I'm still, Terry, not sure if this is a real story or just a ruse. But we're going to read it to you.
Well, the lead into this is it's supposed to have come right out of the horse's mouth, but we'll see.
Absolutely. The Pentagon's ex-UFO chief has made sensational claims he was gagged from revealing top secret information on alien life. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, the former director of the U.S. Department of Defense's UFO task force, demanded a whole range of bombshell files be released so the public can truly see what's going on. He says his bosses within the Pentagon stopped him speaking the truth to the public on multiple occasions, despite him having evidence to support his findings. The physicist, who served as the UFO chief for a year, said he felt that his department wasn't allowed to reveal enough information about mysterious craft. Dr. Kirkpatrick explained, there was a very strong concern to engage in the public discourse as often as I thought we needed to. The fact that they, in brackets, the Pentagon leadership, can't figure out how to get at that message without concern for spillage into other areas has always been a frustrating point. He also felt that the U.S. government's efforts to investigate apparent UFO sightings should have been laid out clearer. Dr. Kirkpatrick had concerns that conspiracy theorists would take the hesitation in talking about extraterrestrial life to mean their theories were at least partially true. He feared the lack of information being passed on to the public would only help promote unproven agendas. He said, if there's a void in the information space, it will be filled with the imagination of the public. Another massive claim made by the ex-chief was that he was stifled and gagged at press conferences to keep what his team had uncovered a secret. However, the Pentagon categorically denies any of Dr. Kirkpatrick's claims, saying he was always allowed to say what he wanted. Spokesperson Eric Pahon added, standard procedure within the department is to have public engagements cleared by higher officials. To our knowledge, any media engagement Dr. Kirkpatrick recommended or requested was approved. Dr. Kirkpatrick's commitment to transparency with the United States Congress and the American public on UAP leaves a legacy the department will carry forward. The chief was made to step down in December 2023 following his stark warning of concerning activity in our backyard. We've got a package of a whole A lot of material that's new that we've got ready for release, he said. We've uncovered some things that we are having declassified, not just operational videos, but historical documents. Kirkpatrick described the information he has had as educational material that will help inform the public. During his time with the Pentagon, Dr. Kirkpatrick was allowed to share spectacular declassified footage of the exact size and shape of the UFOs experts are hunting for. He revealed that the majority of UFOs spotted are metallic spherical orbs. They are usually seen at an altitude between 10,000 feet and 30,000 feet and up to 4 meters in size. The Pentagon also released a blockbuster 1,574 pages of real life X Files in 2022 related to its secretive UFO program. The haul includes reports into research of the biological effects of UFO sightings on humans, set out categorizations for paranormal experiences, and studied into sci fi style tech. The DIA, the Department of Defense's spy arm, said some portions of the documents must be withheld in part due to privacy and confidentiality concerns. But the agency added the DIA has not withheld any responsibility segregable, non-exempt portions of the records. Pardon me. And that's the story. So I don't really get this because it was just a couple of weeks ago Kirkpatrick, who was fired, okay, or asked to step down or whatever it is, Terry, he was literally saying that there's nothing out there, that there is no UFOs, there is no aliens. The U.S. government is not in charge of these programs, and we got nothing. And basically called David Grush a liar. Excuse me. That caught up on me. Called David Grush a liar. He called other people involved a bunch of conspiracy theorists that have no base. Basically said there's no UFOs or aliens here, that he found nothing. He said that David Grush and other whistleblowers have never contacted Arrow, to which David Grush has emails for. And now this is so contradictory to what we have learned over the last number of months about Dr. Kirkpatrick that it makes no sense that he would tell a British newspaper this and not an American media outlet like News Nation, who has been covering this story. Ross Coulthart, who is the number one guy on this story for News Nation, would have ate this story up. Why would he go across the pond? I mean, I'm confused about this story, Terry. I really am.
You and me both. Just like we've run across this so often here lately, Dave, that contradictions abound. Dr. Kirkpatrick was the one who said David Grush was incorrect in his statement. Dr. Kirkpatrick was also the one that said that we have 40 other whistleblowers willing to come forward. According to him, during his time at Arrow, they said it themselves. According to them, we were looking for things between 10 and 30,000 feet that were up to 4 meters. That's a pretty tiny window. But now he comes back around and says, oh no, we've got all these videos and we've been doing declassification and this, that, and the other. And now the Pentagon's saying, no, we always told him he could say what he wanted. But we also know that everything that they have to say or everything that they said runs through an approval committee. So just like with the space agency that you're not too particularly happy with, the contradictions are just ridiculous in all of this, but it all boils down to this, and it all goes back with David Grush and Lou Elizondo and all the rest of them. With every story that we've ever heard, it's he said, she said, until we see the evidence. if Dr. Kirkpatrick, if this really did come out of the horse's mouth, then hopefully he's got enough visibility to be able to push this forward and have it stop where they're telling him you can't say this, you can't say that, national security, and it's a secret because it's breaking that other. There's so many other walls, you know, uh, the gas and petroleum industry, religion, everything else you can think about is all tied to this. It's the greatest question in humanity. We're trying to get the answers. When you put in power, what do? They shut up and take the paycheck. But as soon as it's gone, now are we wondering, is Dr. Kirkpatrick doing this because he sees dollar signs in this? Or what's the deal?
Well, I don't know. This is why I'm very confused on whether this is a real story or not. Okay, like it does not make sense for anything that I see in this story. It contradicts everything that he has been saying the last couple of months, considering that him and David Grush have been on an online Twitter war, okay, going at this verbally with each other. It doesn't make sense that he would tell the American public one thing, but go to the British government or a British newspaper and say something completely different. Now, I'm not saying that this story is bogus by the British reporter from The Sun, a person named Georgie English, okay, but this is a huge story. It really is. Why would he talk so candidly about this event or these events if he wouldn't do that at home? That is very strange to me. Okay, uh it's very odd. It's extremely odd. And something isn't added up. You know, sometimes 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4. And I think we're seeing one of those situations right now, Terry.
That's true, but it could be one of those situations, just like with the original New York Times story back in 2017. Um, they said that it was rushed. They had to get it out. Well, maybe Dr. Kirkpatrick thought that that was the only avenue to be had, was to go offshore. So, but then again, that begs the question: if you're going to go offshore, the guy to go to would be Ross Coulthart. He's the Australian guy who's untouchable in the field. So, and then on top of that, and not casting any shade on the Sun whatsoever, because they're the Sun, but then again, the Sun, I mean, you could equate it in some ways to the National Enquirer almost. So it's one of those things. I think what you ought to do, Dave, is put an open invitation out for Dr. Kirkpatrick or Georgie, the reporter from the Sun, to contact the one journalist in the entire industry who doesn't suck up to power, who tells the story the way that it should be, and come and talk with Dave Scott.
Oh, you're too kind. That is actually a good idea. I mean, we could put those requests out there. And, darn it, we will. We will try and get both of those. But I mean, I just, I'm just flabbergasted by this. The fact that he was claiming he was gagged, honestly, it makes sense. It makes complete sense because he's working at the Pentagon, okay, which is controlled by Susan Goff as their PR person. Susan Goff has been at odds with everybody in the UFO world since this story started picking up steam right after 2017. She is
Susan Goff has covered up enough stuff that she ought to own stock in a sheep.
You got that right. That's actually a good point. Okay, I mean, let's not forget this is a lady who was not her herself caught, but was denying Lou Elizondo had ever worked at the Pentagon, and they were caught eliminating emails, erasing emails that Elizondo had had with people at the Pentagon about this topic. And Susan Goff has been very, very staunch about there's nothing going on. She's like Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons. Nothing to see. Nothing to see.
Sergeant Schultz, right? I see
Exactly.
nothing.
I see nothing. I know nothing. Oh, that was a great show, Hogan's Heroes.
But, it goes, okay, you got to relate this to David Grush. And David Grush has always been very forward in saying what he's been able to say was approved by committee. Well, if you're going to head Arrow, the UFO office, the first UFO office ever created in Washington, there's going to be committees someplace telling you what you can say and what you can't say. I would imagine so. So, with as much cover up that we know that occurs every day in the government here in the United States, and don't get me wrong, I love my country, but the government is broken. And for something as earth shattering as this to come out, not according to their schedule, because when this first broke, when the dam really broke, I don't think it was on anybody's schedule. We all saw how it transpired when when Hillary Clinton's emails came out, when all of this was made public. We saw how it derailed everything. The government tried to jump on it then and failed. And I still think to this day they're still trying to put the cat back on. It's already leaked. Whatever's leaked out of the tube's got to stay out of the tube. But if we can get that cat back on there, we can stop this. And we've seen this before. We've had disclosure moments before, and they've always been able to stamp the fire out. They're not going to stop. So now we're back to the same thing. Is this disinformation or is it true? Once again, right back to square one. Is this disinformation or is it true? If it is true, where's the evidence? Where's the videos? Where's the whistleblowers? Where's the metamaterials? Where's the flying saucers?
Where are they? That's the big question, Terry. And you hit the nail on the head right there with that. And what is this going to do to more whistleblowers when they feared through what the Arrow program would do to them or other programs within the Pentagon would do to them? And this just throws a wrench in everything. Like literally, it's like taking a a Ram 3500 diesel and lifting the hood up and then throwing a bunch of wrenches and bolts and nuts in there and wondering that that everything's going to go through to the bottom of the engine compartment cleanly. It ain't going to happen, man. It ain't going to happen. I don't get it. And I hate to sound confused on this one or repetitive, but Dr. Kirkpatrick has not been a fan of this subject. The only time we saw him be a fan of this subject, Terry, is when he teamed up with Avi Loeb to write that report on UFOs a number of months ago that was never supposed to be released to the public, but Loeb went and released it anyways, and Kirkpatrick had a complete meltdown over that from what I heard.
He did. And that, think about Kirkpatrick always kind of reminded me of the guy from the Condon Report. He already had his mind made up before they gave him the position. And he was trying to steer it towards that, or at least somebody was. But I don't know. Do you think he's had a change of heart? He saw so much that it's like, look, no matter what my own personal feelings about the matter is, we have to push this forward. Could that
We
be it?
definitely do. Go ahead, Terry.
Could that be it? Could that be the reasoning of him coming out? Because there was a time or two in some of his appearances where he did let things slip, like the 40 whistleblowers. Um, he was the one that pushed out a few of the videos that we've seen. The metallic, I remember the one specifically was the metallic sphere that was going along. That was a military that came from somewhere in the military. That was because of her. So was he trying to push the ball forward, and they were it, the way that the way that he acted at times, you can almost believe that he really was trying to push the ball forward, but they were telling him to shut up.
Exactly. Like there are points that are believable on this, but there's a lot of points that just seem way out of touch with what we've seen with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. And we'll have to see how this plays out over the next few days. Terry Hall, thank you for filling in for Courtney Marcassani on the UFO report. Very much appreciate your strong efforts for Spaced Out Radio. And we'll see you in Reno in just a couple of months for our fan party. I cannot wait to meet
Me
Terry Hall
neither.
face to face. And looking forward to it. And it is time to say we got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. There we be. There we
That
be.
last road trip that I took
Yeah.
actually made a playlist of a lot of Bumblefoot stuff. It was
Good
great.
stuff.
Yeah, it's really good driving music, man.
Oh, yeah, that's
Wow.
tight. Very, very tight.
Look, some of the
Point.
stuff that you guys cover: Goatmen, Bigfoot, demons. No. Look, I know that when you come here to Oregon, Dave's, you're going to look out back. You're going to see all the woods and the pine trees and stuff. And you're going to say Bigfoot country. And I'm just going to tie a rope or a string on you and just let you go. Because I'm not going out there.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not me. Nope. I always told you something that's 10 feet tall weighs 1,000 pounds. It can break me in half like a twig. Is no. You know what? I finally figured out why I wouldn't want to go on a UFO. I've actually changed my mind about that.
Really?
Yes. If they had Dove chocolate, I would go. Or Cadbury eggs. Cadbury eggs.
Thank you, the Doug Shelby. The Doug Shelby. I love saying that, man. The Doug Shelby.
You know, Doug got one of those names, right?
Yep.
Right. Doug Shelby. Kind of, Doug, were you related to Carol? Do you have a Ford in your family somewhere?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Well, Dave, I am going to say thank you once again for having
Yeah.
me on.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank-
Very much
Thanks
appreciate
to
it.
thanks to everybody in the chat for putting up with me. I appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening and a great weekend.
Yep. Enjoy your Super Bowl, Terry.
You
Yeah.
guys, next, Dave has got an interview coming up next week that's gonna cook your brains.
Yeah. You may not
Yeah,
know the name. You may not know the name, but he's put together some of the best television shows in our genre.
absolutely.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one. So, Terry, good night to you, my man. Very much appreciate you. And I'll give you a call tomorrow with an update of things that I learned and on the MUFON story and everything. And we'll chat very soon, my friend.
Ciao for now.
That's right. Little Terry Hall. Thank him for coming on in for a great UFO report. And Juliana McGill, nice to see you. John Sabe Balan. Very much appreciate you coming on in, man. Very much appreciate that. All right. Should be there. And see what happens when you start talking during the editing is you forget that there were swear words. One of them, at least. So now I gotta find them. Gotta find them. Who are you going for this weekend if you're watching the football game? Are you a Niners fan? Or are you a Chiefs fan? Or are you a Swiftie fan? That is the big, big purpose of it all. All right. Let me just do this and do this. So we start at... Oh, stop, people. Just stop. Okay. So we start at 6, 16, 26, 24 should be around here.
My dad, the day that he passed, and my dad was kind of in a lot of pain, and so I just tell him, no more test, no more, not a damn more test. Dad, it's time for you to rest. It's time, and you need to know we're okay with that. And my brother was driving in from Arkansas, so he made it, and all of his grandchildren were able to make it to the hospital. And we all left. The nurses said, there's no pointing, we had all these people here. We didn't know that. We just knew it was close to time.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was time. We just knew the end was near. And she goes, you guys go home, get rest, and come home in the morning. And he passed 2 hours later. And
Right.
I do not think that's a coincidence. I think
Not
that
at
was
all.
his choice, 1,000%. I saw everybody I needed to see. I said goodbye.
Yeah.
And now I need to do this with my family. It's good. I don't want them to be in the room. I have,
Yeah.
again, the gift of love.
Especially,
I don't think he wanted us to see it.
Especially with men, because we're kind of probably
Talking about that.
But why do you care so much about what goes on the other side?
Oh my God. I have chills as you're talking about that because I do care. I for some reason now I feel sad that I didn't get a chance to meet your mom. And I have never met you. But I'm in my mind, I'm like, oh, she was a really nice lady. I should have met her. And because they were living, breathing humans. Not all of them are nice that I run across in the paranormal world. We have the ones, if you're cranky here on earth, you don't get to suddenly be nice on the other side. It doesn't work that way. Um, but I have a lot of compassion because even though I know things are better on the other side, they don't have human emotions like we have sadness and grief and happiness and jealousy and all of these things. There's none of that on the other side. There's none of it. Um, so I think I don't know. I just still want to be respectful, even though they're on the other side and I can't maybe physically see them anymore. They were at one time.
Breathe. Let's try from here. It was just that peaceful because Mom went in her sleep.
And that's a gift from your mom to y'all. The way that all went down. You're not being there. She didn't want that. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, that's an incredible showing of love in my eyes.
Yeah.
And have the young man come to her and you be hung up at the coffee. She didn't want anybody there.
No.
It's kind of like I hope I can talk about this without crying like you. My dad, the day that he passed, we had a private conversation, myself and my dad. And my dad was kind of in a lot of pain, and so I just tell him, no more test, no more, not a damn more test. Dad, it's time for you to rest. It's time, and you need to know we're okay with that.
Mhm.
And my brother was driving in from Arkansas, so he made it, and all of his grandchildren were able to make it to the hospital. And we all left. The nurses said, there's no pointing, we had all these people here. We didn't know that. We just knew it was close to time. We
Yeah.
didn't know it was time. We just knew the end was near. And she goes, you guys go home, get rest, and come home in the morning. And he passed 2 hours later. And
Right.
I do not think that's a coincidence. I think
Not
that
at
was
all.
his choice, 1,000%.
He
I
knew.
saw everybody I needed to see. I said goodbye.
Yeah.
And now I need to do.
To get only one else in the room was my sister, who my mom says she's taught was the last one to see my mom breathe.
And that's not.
Maybe it's over. Scares the cow. I only got like 35 years left. And, struggling with suffers from mental health as well. 35 years left. Oh, well.
Stop
Right?
doing that. What are you?
Well, maybe that's it.
Are you out of your mind?
I know. It's a, and it's my safe place dedicated to this man because some help when I laid down in bed, grandma to the other side.
Love in my eyes.
Yeah.
And have the young man come to her and you be hung up at the coffee. She didn't want anybody there.
No.
It's kind of like
complete blessing. I've never
a gift from and the young man come to her.
No.
It's kind of bad the day that he passed.
Oh wow. I'll sneak it in. I'm tired of looking at hard. Oh well. This shit happens in this case. See how I worked that into a pun? Isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going for Kansas City. I am going for Kansas City. I love dynasties. I love the Patriots dynasty. Love the Niners dynasty of the 80s and the Cowboys of the 90s. Love dynasties. All right, everybody. I'm going to call it the night. Big thank you to T-Bone with a hat trick. Maddie, Dry Toast, the best name on YouTube. Major Lee with 2, and Deb and W. Decker. Thank you for the love of the super chats. Don't forget, Sweet Robbie G will be here both Saturday and Sunday. All right. I think Sunday might be a replay because I think Sweet's plans on having a couple of drinks in the Super Bowl festivities. So it might be a replay on Sunday, but Jessica Jones will be here as well. Make sure you have a good night. Stay safe out there. I will talk to you on Monday. My guest will be a gentleman named Typical Skeptic. Don't know what it's about. We're going to find out very, very soon. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. And goodbye for now.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.